The world we live in's a disgusting nightmare.
It is. I heard you and Renan talking about it's just like everything's detached from
reality. Yeah, Ron's like reality doesn't matter. And it's kind of
there's
true.
a feeling where like Renan was saying, like once you get the crowd work clip, like in the show, you almost want to be like, all right, that's all for tonight.
Yeah.
I don't need to run the closer I've done 50 times.
Yeah.
Fuck you here.
What's the point?
100 people watch me here. 1 million are gonna watch me on fucking Instagram.
Kinda, yeah. It is almost.
It's also someday an audience member is going to sue and be like, I didn't say you could use my fucking story for your little crowd work clip.
I'm surprised that hasn't happened.
Yeah, that is
yet.
surprising. That
I've had one time I asked an audience member's permission because it was my show at Sesh. And they talked about a medical condition they had. And of course I'm like, yes. This will go great.
Be weird.
Everyone in a wheelchair is going to love this baby. Welcome to The Downside. My name is Gianmarco Soresi. I'm here with guest co-host, second time in a row, Douglas Goodhart.
Second banana.
Now, the last time you were the guest,
I was.
Our guest co-host, our guest, immediately upon airing the episode, called me and said, you have to take it down right now. Lawyers. And she's going to listen to this one too. And
she was so cocky too. Like, I can say whatever.
She's my friend. she listens to every episode.
Yeah, I know. And she was great. But she was also like, don't worry. I'll say whatever. It'll be fine.
What did she say that what she thought it to be taken down? I guess
Let's
we can't
say it.
it.
I can take this one down and re-edit this fucking thing. And I do sometimes think people like have a change they want to make, and they think maybe I have like a full team.
Right.
That I write them, hey, can you do this? And I'm like, no, it's my day. It's my whole day.
You have to watch the entire episode. It's not like you know the time code off the top of your head. That's a lot
There's
of
no
work.
like, who's the always like a person that they're like, Jerry, pull that up.
Yeah.
Pull that up.
Yeah.
It's in the,
And it'll be something like, can you take out the parts where we talk about me? And I'm like, oh, that's the whole thing. And we reference. So listen. She updated it.
It was a great
episode. She
episode.
made the fixes. It was a great episode.
Yeah.
We got it out there.
Oh, you got it out. Okay.
But I was just so bummed because it was Douglas's first.
Yeah, it was my first
episode, and I called him. I said, "Hey, we're taking it down immediately."
Actually, he called me like he was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Whenever he calls me, it's an anxiety nightmare you're having.
Yeah.
You've never called me and you're like, hey man,
How
things
you
are
doing?
great. Things are
coffee
great.
at 5 p.m. I can't do that. Coffee
I'm
at 5
pushing it.
p.m.
This
That's
is
late.
bad.
That's late.
This
That
is
is
bad.
I have it
late.
afternoon. It's over.
I have one
can't.
cup,
Yeah.
and I don't. Sometimes if I poop, then it's done its job. I don't finish the coffee. That's the
Oh,
only reason I drink
if
coffee.
you poop before you're done with the
Exactly.
coffee.
That's the only reason I drink it.
One thing about New York that I'll start complaining right away.
Do
they
it.
have these coffee shops here with no bathroom. You cannot serve me liquid diarrhea
Yes.
and not have a fucking bathroom. That's insane. I immediately after shit, I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah,
And you want to, because they have a bathroom.
They have a
there's
bathroom.
on
Yes,
the premises.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
there is a part of me that
It's
I wish I
code.
was the
It's
guy
New
where I
York
said,
code.
I will shit here.
Yeah.
I will shit here. And we have two options. You let me use the toilet or I will shit here.
And you have to wipe it up. You have to mop. Or a grown adult saying, I am having an emergency. I'll say that. I'll do it.
I bartended for a long time, and this guy came in with the fear of God in his eyes, and like, you can't say no to that human being. He was like, "Can I use some of that?" I was like, yes, go in there.
I've
But
been
then
that.
we found his underwear in the toilet.
Oh.
It had already happened, and he was discarding. It was
boy.
brutal.
Well, we're here with guest,
I didn't even introduce myself.
comedian Geoffrey Asmus. Welcome to The Downside.
Hello. Thank you for having
Can
me.
you say something negative to kick off our music?
Kick off something negative. Well, they found out that all the rainwater in the world has microplastics in it. So
This is The Downside. Sorry, I
I know
that was my sex playlist that I
yeah, isn't that the
accidentally.
thing on TikTok?
Yes.
My girlfriend was showing me that.
There's
yeah.
just a
That
Reddit
is
post. It really shows. I mean, it's joke structure to a way. It's an incredible setup and the punchline. There was a Reddit post where a guy was saying that he had a song that he loved playing to make love to.
Yes.
And his girlfriend was not really into it. And after 2 years of playing this like every time, I guess it was a playlist he put on every time. and then it goes on that basically they stopped using the music, but then one time with no music, his girlfriend recognized that he was pumping to the rhythm
he was
of
doing
the
it to the
song.
rhythm.
And so in my mind, like first I thought in my head like, oh, it's fast. It's like intense. It's like gonna be a Metallica thing. But you play the song and it is this.
This is the song.
And the thought of pumping to
kinda
that
fun.
without the music, and like for her to recognize it and her to be like, "You're doing this song," and he's going,
Ba, 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 ba. He's going,
I don't see that song. Just isn't sexy at all.
No.
It sounds like birds cawing. It's like a bird call. It's not like there's nothing sexual about
music
that.
for sex is tough.
I never listen to music.
You don't do any music?
Never. I like music too much. I can't ruin it with what I'm doing. I feel like Elton John put all that work into it. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna go. Sorry. Tiny Dancer's too good. Music's good. I'll play a podcast. That's
Really?
That's worth ruining.
Stop it.
That's not art.
What podcast
This
would you
is
put on
art.
for sex?
Rogan. 3 hours. My girlfriend knows that's true.
I said to poor Tova, I said to her, I was like, Louis C.K. said this really interesting thing on the Joe Rogan podcast, and she was like, "Just kill me." Like, that is the worst sentence I've ever heard in my life. Louis C.K. told this great thing on the Joe Rogan Experience.
It's an incel wet dream right there.
Yeah.
That is
Did
beautiful.
you say it while you were?
Like, what was it
that
about? Oh, it was a stand-up comedy advice on top of all that. Truly, she could not be
And
less
this was during
interested.
sex. This was during sex.
Yeah.
You're like, by the way, I gotta relay this anecdote to you.
There is definitely this thing where we have an Alexa, and like I think we're always like put on love-making music, sex music, and it always, every time, no matter what the input is, goes playing X-rated R&B jams. And that's how I know our devices are not listening to us. Yeah. There's always little bits of proof from, like, if it could hear us, it knows this is not the playlist for us.
No, that's not. It should play like Modest Yahoo for you or something. I don't know. Is there Jewish romantic music?
It's
I
not
can't-
romantic in my standards. I mean,
There are
a couple good songs. You can
Is
play
it
a
like-
couple like the Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh,
the Fiddler on the Roof.
okay. Yeah.
do you love me? And that's how I'm being. Do you love me? Do I love tradition? What do you play during sex?
We don't.
Your own music.
We don't. Oh, no, not my own music.
He's a musician.
Oh, that
Well,
would be fun.
Douglas is the creator of the real theme song. This is The Downside.
1, 2, 3.
And we actually listen to this. Yeah.
The
That's
long
good.
instrumental version you said.
You're listening to The Downside
You come right.
with Gianmarco Soresi.
Yeah, right? No.
That rips. That's
thank you.
good.
Thank you.
I like that.
No, we don't listen to music. She really doesn't like it. She doesn't like any semblance of like you're doing it to the rhythm. You're doing it to the rhythm. And the funny thing is, I do love R&B and soul music. I love quote unquote baby making music. You know,
Right. I like it too. I just don't want to have sex to it.
oh, really?
It seems like disrespectful to what Marvin Gaye was going for.
Sure. Although
It looks racist what I'm doing. It looks like I'm mad a black man singing. I'm like, oh, God.
There is this thing with like me and Dove. It's like two Jews having sex. So we're only going to put on black musicians. Like this is what captures it. It really, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's nothing.
There's nothing. We just.
Do you make noise? I don't really make much noise. It's pretty much silent.
Oh, okay. No, you got to make noise. You
I'm
got to
a
make
little
noise.
bit.
You got to fill the. It's like this. You got to fill the time.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm really good at this because of the lovemaking.
You just have to say something.
Yeah,
it
something's
can't be
got-
silent. Good work. Nice job. Good
Yeah.
riff. Nice.
No, you're oh man, you're checking in with the person.
This is
and
what
you're-
Russell runs into. You think you're not going to talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
things,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, I got to say it.
Yeah, no, you
This
check.
is how my fiance comes.
No. You learn. One of the first times we had sex, she was like, "Oh, you like to talk," and she like made a comment.
She said that during sex. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, you're a
yeah,
talker.
yeah, exactly,
Man, that would make
exactly.
me shut up right away. Nothing could make me quieter than that.
I like talking. I enjoy like we're talking about whatever, and then at some point there's the tipping point.
Oh, like it turns into sex? Yeah.
Like
that's
talking, but there's a
Yeah. You know it's going to happen,
Yeah.
but you don't want to have it right away because it's a little gauche. So you just talk for 5
just
minutes.
run a couple
Yeah.
jokes.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Couple tweets by her. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
do you think
What?
this is funny?
What do you think's the best time for posting on Instagram? Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to have you on here.
Happy to be
I have
here.
more.
Excited.
I have too much admiration for you as
Oh,
comedically.
no.
Whenever you talk about like comedians being hacky, like on Facebook,
Oh, yeah.
there's always a part where I'm like, this is for me. you're writing it about me. Because
I
I think I'm a loud theatrical. So my fear is
you think that I'm like, oh no,
that
no.
like real writer comedians are like, oh wow, he yelled the punchline again.
I think they're jealous that they can't perform. I think people say that a lot because they're like they like to stand there and they say good words, but they can't emote like you do. So
Sure.
that's a little jealousy. I think
The worst thing a comedian said to me after set, he said, "Wow, that was really energetic."
That's a bad. That's like the opposite of the other comment where you're like, well, he's a good joke writer. That's always a bad. I think that's always a backhanded compliment.
Sure, but people will sometimes they'll be like, sometimes the audience member, I love the faces you make up there. And I'm like, why don't you kill me? Why don't you shoot me in the fucking face?
I would hate to hear that.
Like, it makes faces? You mean like a baby makes faces that are funny and silly?
Like, how long did it take you to memorize this? That's a lot of words. Oh my god.
God.
So
I did used to post a lot of comedian things on like roasting comics on Facebook. That was my thing for a while.
yeah, you still do it now and then.
A little bit, but not as much. I got in a couple hit big fights. I'm like, I don't need to do this anymore.
you got some blowback for it?
I got a now very famous comedian threatened to beat me up. Yeah.
Wait, is this the Southern Mama post?
Yeah, from way back. I don't know if I can say the name.
You deleted it.
I hid it. It's still there, but I hid it.
I went to find it today.
I know. I actually don't know how to find it, but I know I didn't delete it. I just hid from the timeline.
You can't say the comedian. Can you say the story?
Okay, so there's this Southern Mama.
So Southern Mama, do you remember Southern Mama?
He's this like guy who dresses like a woman, maybe a black woman, and does like, I'm a Southern Mama.
Oh, okay,
and he does
all right.
that on. He's huge in the South.
Okay.
And he did the Varieties top comics to watch at Montreal.
So
and like
the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival, where Jay Jordan just did it, where it's like they get all like the up and coming comedians,
Yeah,
pretty high level,
pretty
At
high
a
level.
pretty high level.
Yeah, it's like New Faces pretty much.
And there was someone on there this year who was like more social media star who didn't do the stand up show because she was like, well, I'm not a stand up comedian.
Oh, she didn't even do it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like she did the like Q&A and like did like that part of it and won the award, but was like, I'm not a stand up comedian.
I kind of respect that.
I
like
respect
that
it tremendously. Southern
like
Mama
that.
did not have this humility. And apparently from what you weren't there that year.
I was not there,
When I
no.
was told he came out and his opening line was, let's give a cheers to our wives and our girlfriends. Do you know where it's going? May they never meet.
Ooh, amazing.
And then went into
that's gotta be not his line.
oh no way
That's a hack
an old
line.
That's an old
That's a vaudeville line.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
that's a
yeah.
what
vaudeville
the-
line. But at some
Take my
point,
wife, please.
every hack line at one point
They
someone
all
said it.
come
It was
back.
like wow.
Yeah.
Some guy said it in the 1800s and I was like, that's the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Right. That's true. I heard he said something about the He's like, finally a straight white male up here or something, which they didn't like.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I guess he was a little racist backstage, which I didn't know before my post defending him.
Oh,
but,
I see.
Yeah.
And the person who yelled at you was on this
yes,
showcase
they
as well.
were on the showcase.
And was in the video. Chris Redd, basically like Chris Redd, who was hosting the show, confronted him backstage. 'Cause
Yeah.
he was bombing and he started talking shit about...
He's talking about like identity politics or stuff like
and
like
the South knows
diversity.
real comedy. And
Yeah.
The worst to bomb and then start like shitting on the other people on the lineup. Real
Yeah.
bad stuff.
Yeah.
And then
So-
I defended him online. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Well, a little. It was a long thing. I think my point actually is valid. My point was that like, he should have never gone to Montreal. He's not meant for this thing. Like,
Sure.
he already had like 2 million followers. Like, just because he bombed at Montreal, there are people who like this shit. I don't think it's funny, but like, to not understand that there is an audience for this type of humor, it's like this coastal elite like not understanding why Middle America does things, and I was like, that's why Trump won, which I think was maybe a little bit of a stretch.
That was the connection that you made.
That was the connection I made.
The disdain that
We, like,
everyone was
looked-
expressing for Southern Mama.
Yeah, we look down on
Is-
this entire part of the country as like these dumb idiots, and like maybe they are, but like there's a reason they like this shit.
Yeah.
It relates to them more than like a one-armed Armenian gay guy's journey. Like that, they don't relate to that.
What's
They
that
don't-
guy's name?
I don't know. That was a made-up.
What's his
guy.
first joke?
If I
Tells
had
his story. There's no jokes. That's where you're wrong.
No, if
He
I
comes out, he says how he lost the arm.
Yeah.
And then he says at the end, well, could you give me a hand?
Yeah.
And that's it.
He's like, if I had 2 arms, there wouldn't have been a genocide. We would have stopped them.
And then a very famous.
Very famous comedian came out, and he was right. I went a little too far in some parts. He's like, he said I was being homophobic for supporting this guy, and he said if he ever saw me, he'd beat me up.
Wow.
And then that was when I kind of slowed down my rants online. I was like, this maybe isn't worth it. I
coming
still
to
stand by
blows.
most of what I said, but 20% maybe went too far.
So I just did Just for Laughs, New Faces.
Oh,
and
yes.
I had a wonderful experience. I mean, it was not like all. It was stressful. It was a lot of
stress.
meeting,
Yeah.
and it's a big show, but I felt very good.
Yeah.
I felt like there's nothing really I could have changed.
Yeah, your shows went good this year, I heard. I heard the shows went off without a hitch.
Yeah. No Southern Mama situation.
No, none of that.
I was stressed, obviously, leading up to it.
Sure.
And, I tried to comfort myself. One way I comfort myself is I think about other people who did not have great experiences. And I go like, well, look, but they're good now and they're doing well now.
Yeah,
And there was
It's
kind
not-
of a legendary story about, I was repped. It was Just for Laughs. There's repped New Faces and then unrepped New Faces.
Mm-hmm.
Now you were...
Oh.
I did Unwrapped in 2016 or 17. I can't remember.
And I've had almost every member of your class tell me the story of it, because it really goes to show, it doesn't always go great.
Yeah, it shows how the industry doesn't really care about you. Yeah, I mean, they really fucked us. They really fucked us. It's crazy what
And
they
when you
did.
went, how many years into comedy were you?
I was probably the least into comedy of anyone on it. I was 3 years when I got it, maybe 3.5 when the
Incredible.
show
Wow,
happened.
good for
It was
you.
very early.
Were you a killer then?
I had a very weird. I did a lot of prop comedy actually. I did a
Really?
very bizarre. I had a video go viral on Reddit, or kind of viral, and then it that got me JFL. I did a lot of gimmicks on stage. I would read from the Bible. I did this thing where I memorized all the world capitals, and they would shout out a country, and I could tell them the capital. I wasn't a good performer, but the jokes were funny, I would say.
What
But
was the
I
joke with the capitals?
It was that I didn't masturbate till I was 25, and I was like, instead of masturbating, I learned all the capitals, and then I can't remember where it went from that. It was just
my God.
I'm full of cum and knowledge, or something like that. I think that might have been a line. That's
Sounds
a joke
great.
I actually want to bring back. I think I could do it better
Wait,
now.
you said you didn't masturbate until you were 25?
That's actually true. I did not masturbate till I was around 24,
How is
25.
that possible? What did you do with your
You had a lot of
erections?
wet dreams.
I had a lot of wet
You
dreams.
had a lot of wet dreams.
How many wet dreams? I've probably had, because I was masturbating before I could reach that final point.
Is there a point in our lives where you can masturbate and you don't come? Like the body hasn't made it yet?
Yeah, and I did it. I did it.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Where I was a ground humper. And so I would just hump the ground, and it would just feel incredible.
Yeah.
And then eventually one day I kind of got a boner, and I don't fully remember.
Oh, you were
but-
doing it before the boner.
Yeah, I mean, with the ground humping, you can't get fully hard. So some people say it's
Right.
bad; it prevents you from getting hard
Later in life?
which
Oh.
I guess
Possibly.
I gotta say.
Are we talking outside ground or indoor carpet?
Floor or ground?
You mean what do you mean like
Are you
grass?
humping? Yeah, humping grass.
Baby, I'm humping anything. I'm humping. I'm bringing hardcover books to the bed because the mattress isn't hard enough.
Oh,
I'm putting
boy.
the book underneath me.
Oh, you
And
want the
listen,
service to be hard?
Let me tell you, I loved Harry Potter for more reasons than one. I was the Sorcerer's Stone. I was just pressing it.
Is this like a sect of people? Like, are people gonna be like, oh yeah, I was a ground
See,
humper.
I hump pillows. I've humped pillows before to masturbate.
Yeah,
I've done
and
that.
this was like, but I
but
could
not until you were 26.
Not until I was twice. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah.
So, and the first time it happened, it was like I was in my mom's office.
Yeah.
And it was like she was just taking me to work, and I just remember I was like making myself comfortable on the floor, and then just kind of felt good, and I am sure of it that I was just like, and my mom having no idea what to do. But
There's a coworker walking in like, your son's a little horny. He's in heat.
it was incredible, and so for a long time, this is whatever, but I didn't jerk off regularly for years. I would put on porn on the desk in my computer in my bedroom. I'd get on the floor. I'd have to back far enough away,
So you could see the porn?
and I'd bring the speaker because my dad's in the next room. So I'd bring the speaker on the lowest volume setting,
Oh my God.
place it next to me, and I'd be angling up, looking at the porn, humping the floor.
God.
So that was so I've had maybe 3 wet dreams in my whole life. Is what I'm saying.
You've kept it out.
I've never been so backed up with cum. It's been like 3 wet dreams
You've
in my
kept
life.
the levies low.
Yeah.
You've kept. My levies were breaking like the 8th ward all the time. Or 9th ward.
God.
Ninth
The ninth ward,
Damn
yeah,
it.
So you
Well,
you said you were masturbating before you could come?
absolutely before.
So is
I
it just like a poof, like a gun that isn't loaded in a Looney
clear-
Tunes?
It was like a
Clear.
It was like
Oh,
clear.
really?
Yeah,
It's so it's
yeah,
that it's literally pre-cum.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah,
they
yeah,
literally the body just hasn't. They're like, we didn't think you'd be ready yet.
Yeah.
You're 19. They're like, we didn't think you'd be fucking yet.
Was it or was it like a dribble?
Yeah, it was a
Like a dribble, yeah.
It was a
Really?
dribble,
Oh,
dribble.
I never. I was.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
waited
yeah.
till I was ready.
Now-
it was ready to come out. For sure.
Why? How? Why?
I never. I wasn't raised in. I was very sheltered. We were never told about sex. My parents. I truly did not know what sex was till I was 18 or 19.
Oh my god!
I mean, I knew what it was, but I didn't know how you did it. I didn't know cum was part of
Yeah.
it. I didn't watch porn. I've
You
never
didn't
watched.
have, you didn't have the internet?
I didn't really get it. I've never watched porn. I'm
Oh,
not
wow.
a porn guy.
Sure.
I watched it a couple times, but not a lot.
I gotta.
That
But you didn't. You grew up in the world.
Yeah. I mean, I got horny. I was all into girls, and I didn't have sex till I was 25 either. So that's also a thing.
Yeah.
I was very shy.
Who opened
but
your eyes to masturbation? Who was like, "Come here"? Yeah.
I think I just
Come
heard
here,
from so
25-year-old.
many people that it made you feel better. I was like, maybe I'm so sad for a reason, and it is a
But when you
it's
had
a happy thing.
when you had boners, what did you think? You just
I would just, like,
hope this
think-
goes away soon.
I'd like think of women. I'd think of us having sex. I'd get hard, and then I'd just stop.
Oh my.
Which is a bizarre. I can't even explain it honestly. I have no real
If
explanation
you
for
could
it.
go back in time,
I would have masturbated when I was like 18. Definitely.
like if
Definitely.
you that should be a short film. You time traveling.
Just to masturbate.
What happens? And you don't share anything about world tragedies, Russia,
yeah,
Ukraine.
I go back to 9/11 when I was in 6th grade and I just masturbate. I say nothing.
That's it. You get transported. It's the morning of 9/11,
Yeah.
and you run up to yourself. You're like, jerk off. Jerk off. Take your hand like this. I promise. Bye.
And then it doesn't happen. 9/11
that.
doesn't happen. I stop it.
That's a great sketch of
Yeah,
you just
that-
going back to points in your life where something terrible happens.
you stop
but being
9/11. I have one more thing to do.
Yeah. I could have stopped the steal, but I didn't. I chose not to.
Like, wait, so JFL. So
No, wait,
those
hold
are the
on.
Oh, you want to stay on
I'm
it.
just.
We're going.
We gotta go to the. So what happened when you? So you sex 25 and masturbate 25. Big year for you. 25.
Yeah, they were around the
Huge
same year.
year.
They were. I think I might have had sex first before I started masturbating. I think then I was like, oh, this feels good.
Yeah.
Then,
you gotta
yeah.
run before
I'd
you
only
can walk.
come probably like 10 times. I had like
Because you
10
have jokes about coming
blowjobs,
too
babe.
fast and like, well,
Yeah, of course. That's
I'm
what.
sure you figured things out
A
now.
little bit, but not.
But
I'm
the
no stallion.
beginning,
There
the
was,
beginning is did you? I mean, I almost had my girlfriend. I mean, she kind of the relationship ended partly because I was coming too fast.
Really?
I was.
I mean, the first time I tried to have sex, I came while going into dock. Like,
Oh, wow.
while I was going in, I didn't even get one thrust in. Just on the way, I just like laid down some
But of
covering.
course,
Of course.
never jerked
Absolutely.
off.
I never been close to it before. I
Yeah.
had no idea.
I honestly, there's sometimes like I'm 34 now, and sometimes there's like I'm like, all right, it takes long. Like I can't just be done.
Oh, I'm pretty. It's 2 minutes or less. 2
Yeah,
minutes or
yeah.
less.
I'm more on that side
I don't
than
have
I-
a problem with that.
So when you heard this song, you were like shocked how long it was.
Yeah. Why'd you play it so long? Yeah. I could come during that GIF. I'm a porn GIF. I could be the king of porn GIFs.
Were you a weird kid though? I mean,
Oh yeah, I was weird. Yeah, I did some fucked up weird things. Like I was very isolated. I had friends, but I like to be alone. I'm an alone guy. I did this thing.
I can tell because like before a set, like I'm also not a big like talking right before a set, but I've had like 3 times with Geoffrey. Now he's moved back to New York where we're talking and I feel like we're having a good conversation. He's like, I gotta go. I'm gonna go mumble to myself in the bathroom. My set.
I do that like, all the time.
And I'm like, oh, okay, and I understand it. But you know when you see someone who has like your flaws even worse than you, and you're
Yes.
like, you know
I'm
what?
good.
I'm not so bad. I
Yeah.
jerked off when I was 18. I'm normal. But I understand
I love to be
it.
alone. I love to be alone.
understand it.
Like when I was a kid, my favorite thing from age like 10 to 14 was I would run around the neighborhood with a hockey stick and pretend I was a soldier in this made up country's army, and I would just narrate these campaigns I would go on. We lived in like a neighborhood where you kind of had yards and there were like maybe little woods and stuff, so I'd be in
Sure.
people's woods like aiming my hockey stick at their window during dinner, and they're like, "You got to tell Geoffrey not to do that. It's fucking creepy as hell."
You're playing sniper.
I'm like
You're playing-
sniping
yeah,
them.
yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
"Oh, the
yeah.
enemy's in the kitchen." Like,
Wow.
it was weird.
The part I can believe is you not having sex till 25.
Yeah.
The part I can't believe is you not masturbating 4 times a day.
Because usually virgins are masturbating the whole
Yes.
time. I think I deserve a medal. I didn't masturbate. I didn't shoot up a school. I think I get something for that. Some guys shoot up a school because they're virgins till 18. I lasted till 25, 26. Nothing. Not even one shot.
I think that could be a talking circuit you do. We're
Yeah.
not just like you're a loser and you can be this.
You can be a loser and not shoot up a school. You just write a manifesto that you never publish. It's not a big deal.
Show them the hockey stick.
Yeah,
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 the
yeah,
hockey
show 'em the
sticks.
Arm 'em with a
yeah.
hockey stick. Like, get out your aggression like
Pretend
this.
you're a soldier. Come on. Don't do it.
This was what age you were doing this hockey stick
That
thing?
was probably 10 to 14, maybe. Probably, yeah.
I was into we had bamboo in the backyard, and my dad, he indulged me in this. He would make like bamboo rods, and I would walk around my backyard,
Yeah.
and swing it at trees and pretend I was Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
I
going
was-
into other people's yards where that went to the.
I was always pretending I was a ninja. I was a ninja everywhere, and especially like when it snowed, I was like the GI Joe, the snow GI Joe, like
Oh,
sniping and
yeah.
like creating tunnels. And
We
that
all
kind
want to
of
go to war.
Yeah, yeah.
Every guy, we
It's
all
so-
want to kill someone. It's bizarre.
I had mine
is
was an
that?
anime. Were you like a World War II soldier?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was like that. I made up my own country, but it was like World War II. Yeah. at
Which
the
side
time.
were you on?
I was the good guys. There's no Nazis.
Okay, we need to clarify.
They were good tacticians though. I admire their strategies.
So just for laughs.
Oh yeah, just for laughs. Right,
we're-
right.
So
You were
so-
telling jokes like that are amazing.
I was doing a lot of virgin. I was a virgin at the time, I believe. Yeah, or I maybe just recently lost it, but I think I still told the virgin jokes on stage.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't. I can't even. I would shudder to think of the act I did. Most of it, except for the Bible bit and the country capitals. The rest was trash. I
So-
made a joke about the Jews and how like a lot of Jews here for the industry. I remember I made a joke like that.
That was it. That was
no,
it.
there was more than that, but like that was basically the joke. It was not a good riff.
Had you established you come from German heritage before that joke?
I think so. Yes. So to
tag
make it
was,
even
"We should
worse,
kill him."
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't much better than that. I wasn't a seasoned comic yet. Is what I would say.
I don't know what I want more, you to be my agent or dead.
Yeah.
Just an observation.
A lot of Jews in the crowd tonight.
So the circumstances for this being a failure were there already without anything extra.
Yeah, so they fucked up everything. So new faces. I was in Unwrapped. A lot of great people are very successful now. Janelle James is in my
James,
group.
who's
She's
in
on
Abbott
it.
Elementary.
ABC sitcom. Ismail Lutfi doing pretty well. JP McDade doing well. I was the youngest or the least most new into comedy.
You were still in Chicago?
I was in. I had recently moved to Chicago. Now I had started in Wisconsin. I hadn't been in Chicago
Yeah,
that
this is a
long.
big deal.
So this is a big deal. I mean, I hadn't done comedy that often. Honest, I'd not. It was by far the most people I'd ever performed for. At least I'd never done a theater before. It was in this big theater. But we get fucked every part of the way. The show starts at 11:30 at night. So late. Why you would have a industry showcase then? No one knows. It's at the same time as the Comedy Central roast battle, which then was huge, like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
Roast battle was huge. Someone famous was on it. I can't remember who, but like some like famous actor. Oh, Blake Griffin was on it. So everyone wanted to see Blake Griffin do it. So the industry left halfway through the show. At least half the industry left. They didn't even see my set.
And who was hosting it?
George Wallace.
And did he do it with care
George
and-
Wallace did terribly. He bombed the opening set at one point because there was no one sitting in the first like 7 or 8 rows of the theater, so you could barely see a single audience member. It was like you performing in an empty auditorium, and he's trying to do crowd work when he can't see. And at one point, he's like, "Turn on the house lights so I could see everyone." And he turns on the house lights his whole set.
No, he's a
legend. He's like
was he not happy that he had to do this?
Yeah, he didn't want to do it. He did not care. He forgot.
He's like, I want to go see Blake Griffin at the
Yeah,
Rose
of
Battle
course.
show. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't want to introduce a bunch of schmucks he's never heard. He forgets JP McDade's name. He's like, next up is he's like, who is it again? And like he has to start his set like that. And I think I'm like 8th or 9th.
He left his notes on the stool, I heard as well.
Yes,
sometime.
he left his notes. Yes, he left his notes
So
on
you
the
could do
stool.
his jokes
Yeah, yeah.
during
And
your
you
thing?
gotta understand, this is like
This is the biggest.
This is huge.
The biggest moment.
This is the biggest goal of my year. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
like you want someone who cares and
Yeah.
And they'd been hyping us up the whole time, like, this is huge. This is all these people. Louis C.K. did this. Every famous comedian, Ali Wong did it. They all got big from JFL. Could be you guys. And then we performed for an empty auditorium. Everyone's already heard. By around 1st and 5 or 6, everyone's like, "Oh, the industry left. They're not even here anymore." And so,
someone cried, right? A comedian-
oh yeah, I forget. I won't name names, but
when,
yes,
when a
someone did
comedian
cry.
cries, I mean, things are
Things are
gone
rough.
real bad.
And I go up and do my set. My set actually is not that bad. I probably have a I probably have the 4th or 5th best set out of 12 people. Not great, but I did pretty well. The Country Capitals thing really killed. I was like, okay, decent job. And then this lady writes a review of my set, or she wrote a review of everyone's set actually, but my set she concentrated on in particular. She went down everyone's set, and she's like an economics blogger, but for some reason she wrote about the show.
And also,
She
like,
moonlights as like a comedy
to
critic.
write about this show, I don't know. I feel like I don't know what I've never thought about what the ethics are of reviewing. What things should you review? What things do you just let be?
Yeah.
This one maybe you let be.
Yeah,
She didn't also explain any of the extenuating circumstances. She probably didn't know them, but she didn't say it was empty and there was no one there and it was 11:35 at night or whatever.
I always thought that the point of a reviewer was to save the consumers from wasting their
Yes.
money. You know, like you
Right.
the Broadway shows are $150, so you read the reviews because you don't want to waste.
Well, now they'll
$150.
boycott seeing me host at the Liberty Funny Bone in Columbus. They're like,
Exactly.
don't
It's
waste your time.
Like, why are you
on
doing
Jeff."
this to this kid?
Yeah.
And like I remember the one Spider-Man on Broadway was super delayed. And the New York Times made a big deal. They were breaking precedent to review the previews because they have the preview period. But Spider-Man kept delaying their previews over and over. So the New York Times said, you know what? People are spending so much money on this still. We gave them the appropriate amount of time. They extended. We have to review it now because you're making money. And so they reviewed what was not a fully finished product.
Yeah.
Oh.
But unrepped new faces, even repped, the dudes who'd repped and unrepped.
Yeah.
They're not even, being submitted for jobs yet.
We have nothing. We're maybe features on a B club. Maybe. I
So
wasn't.
This was the review.
I can't
my
wait.
God.
I haven't heard this in a while.
Does this hurt? Will this hurt a little
no,
bit?
I'm
Oh, okay.
over it. It did hurt. Not anymore. I think
yeah.
it's hilarious now.
Yeah, how much did it hurt at the time?
For about a year, I was pretty embarrassed by it because you read the review and you think that I bombed, but I actually did decent. I didn't kill, but I had a decent set.
Yeah.
So the review makes you think I got complete silence the entire time, which is not the case. I had there were like 1 or 2 kind of rough moments, but it was a pretty decent set.
I wish we had dramatic music we could play under it.
We do. Geoffrey Asmus was the most memorable of the comedians. Not because he was good, but because he was, all caps, bad. Asmus's stage persona is one of a sanctimonious, entitled, chronically ill white male with delusions of grandeur. He began his routine by physically attacking a member of the audience who was cheering him before describing a medical condition with such specificity there was no doubt he actually had it. He talked of being a virgin who's never masturbated in a way that was more painful than funny. He claimed that not engaging in sexual activity allowed him to hone his intellect and brag that he knew everything. Asmus claimed that he even knew about Canadian prime ministers and asked the audience to name one. I turned to my partner and bet him that I could stump the guy, after which I called out Diefenbaker. Is that how you pronounce it?
Diefenbacher, I think.
Diefenbacher, the prime minister in the 60s who had a rivalry with JFK. Asmus said Diefenbacher was a white male, hardly remarkable given that nearly all Canada's prime ministers were white males. In other words, I won.
Oh, there's a few details I forgot till now. I did used to do an opener where I would go on stage.
Yeah, that's a big detail.
I would go on stage and I would rub someone's head and be like, "Hey, doggy, you want to hear a joke or whatever?" It actually was sometimes funny in like a intimate venue, but in a place where there was one person in the front row is a little, and it was one of those
in a venue where you had to walk 7 rows to touch.
No,
the
I
first
literally
audience
had
member.
to climb on top of the chairs to get to the
Oh,
person.
wow.
I had to
You were
like balance.
determined.
I was like, I have a script. I have to stick to it.
Oh, my
I like
God.
climbed over 2 rows and went, "Want to hear a joke, little doggy?"
Oh, that's
I think
so
I had a
funny.
wireless mic so they could hear me.
Did that get silenced?
That one did not get great. I don't remember that one. That one didn't get much.
I just imagine it taking you a minute to get to the audience.
I didn't have the time, so I needed to waste a little bit. Yeah. And then the medical condition was I talked about being a bedwetter, which was true. I don't see why it's bad that I talked about it specifically. So she thought I really had it. Isn't that the point of comedy?
Well, she
That you're
seems to be like describing the way jokes are set
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Oh, he was
You know?
honest, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought he was telling the truth.
Like I met this guy, and he joked about how he never got any respect, and
also-
it seemed like he did get respected. Like it was like
Not
what?
naming it makes her seem awful because, like, what if it was cancer? And then she
Right.
proceeded to give you the worst review ever.
He was always shaking on stage.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. Yeah, it was just bedwetting. It wasn't that bad either. It wasn't a big deal.
Where was this? Where
It's
was
in
this
Montreal.
Review? No. I
Oh,
mean the
it's
review.
on. I can't remember the website. It's on some blog, some like random blog. I don't remember how I found it even.
Oh, wow.
It's not a well-known publication.
Oh, okay.
I think I typed my name on Google and it came up.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, when you're not looking up porn, you have time to look.
Yeah,
up your name on
exactly.
Google every day.
I had the Google search alert, whatever.
I just wonder if, like, at the time, like, now who gives a shit? Obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's honestly, it's one of those fucked up things where it's a fucked up thing where I'm like, man, my comedy's not brave enough for me to ever get a review like this, even though a review like this would devastate me forever.
She reviewed every single person on the show, and I got by far the most type. Everyone else got like 5 words: good, great, bad, whatever. But I got a whole paragraph.
She
I'll
fucking
take it.
hated you.
All press is good press in the end.
Did you cry when you read it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God.
Not because of actually what she said, but because of how people would perceive what she said. Because it sounds like I
course.
bombed. I knew I didn't bomb, so that didn't really bother me. But everyone's gonna be like, he went there and bombed with these jokes. The funny thing is the Canadian Prime Minister thing. So I forgot I switched it in Montreal because I was trying to be like do a little Montreal thing. So I'm like, I know everything about Canadian prime ministers. The joke is I usually do presidents, and I'd be like, I know everything about a president, and then they'd say something, and I'd be like, white male. It was like a twist.
Yeah, that was the joke.
After doing all the countries and being like, I know all the capitals, then it was like a twist, like, oh, haha, he was joking about this.
Yeah.
So and that joke killed. That was by far the biggest laugh of my set. It like got an applause break, and she's like, I won. Like, no, you lost. You didn't understand the joke.
Yeah, she has no sense
She
of humor.
didn't get it at all. I didn't understand
Where
that.
does she live?
She is in British Columbia, I believe. I think so. Samantha Gold, or is that her name, right?
Is there any fantasy in your mind that
Oh, I would
she
love to
stumbles
meet
upon you
her.
at a show?
Oh, I would love to have her review another show. That would be great.
Oh, that'd be really
Revenge, JFL Revenge.
Would
If-
you make her the doggy for the opening bit?
Oh yes. You want to hear a little joke, little Samantha? Oh my
When
god.
you did that joke, did you normally pick men?
Only men.
Only
men. Only white men. I never touched anyone else's head. You can't touch
If you touch a black woman's head as your opener,
Oh my god. One time a guy grabbed my hand and just like held it there for a while. I was like, don't you ever do that again.
and you were like, I'm gonna keep doing this opener.
and I kept doing it, of
Maybe
course. That made me want to do it
Maybe
more.
there was like a toupee involved or
Oh,
some
probably.
yeah,
Man,
yeah.
that would be funny if I just pulled someone's toupee off. That would be the end of my career, but boy, would that go viral in the
Did you
end.
used to be more of like an alt comedian?
Yeah, I used to be kind of alty.
What changed?
And what's
People-
the definition of alty?
Yeah, I think the definition is a little illusory. But I mean, I brought a pile of books on stage at JFL. I used
That's
to.
the definition.
I used to, as on my big closer, with kind of a funny joke, I'd bring a bunch of books on stage. So one of them was the Bible, which I read a verse from, did a joke about that. Kind of funny. And then I'd be like, I'm doing this. I'm working for this charity trying to increase literacy. So to get people to read books, I'm spoiling the endings to novels so people will read them before I could spoil them for everyone or whatever. And then I'd like yell out how books ended and stuff like that. And there are a couple of them were like, a Toyota manual, you picked a bad car or something like that. Like stuff. And then Game of Thrones was the last one because it wasn't out yet. And I was like, you guys want me to spoil Game of Thrones? They'd be like, no. And then that was the whole big gag at the end because the Game of Thrones hadn't ended yet or whatever.
So
It was, and I would throw the books very comically high, and they'd come crashing down. It was very Carrot Top-esque.
you would assault more audience members. You'd aim for the guy who's
Oh,
head
a guy
you
got
already
hit for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. I would throw the Quran too.
Oh my God.
Or I would say It wasn't actually the Quran, but I would say I'm throwing the Quran or whatever.
I think I vacillate I don't think I could ever be an alt comedian. Like, I don't think my brain thinks that way.
Yeah, it's fun. It was fun.
There's half the time I go like, this is a gimmick, and then half the time I go, they're so genius that they're
Yeah.
above my level of like what is funny.
I agree. Good alt comedy is amazing. I love
Would
it.
you say David Cross was an alt comedian?
he had some
He
like
used to read from things.
Yeah,
newspaper. He used to read from the newspaper.
but he was still there were still traditional punchlines. He definitely had some like weird alty jokes,
He had
which
alt-
even regular comedies can have like
Sure.
crazy alty
Right.
bits.
I think I stopped doing alt comedy because people made fun of me so much. That's honestly why. That's the only reason. I had fun doing it. I would love to bring it back, honestly.
It's hard to.
The people don't. We're in New York. You can't go up at the Comedy Cellar with a prop. No one will ever. I mean,
Alt
I would love
comics
to.
bomb. Alt comics, like, I feel like part of the game is you got to be ready to bomb a lot of different. There's a lot of shows that you will not be right for.
Yeah.
People have to
And-
know comedy to get alt comedy. You
Yes.
can't get alt comedy if you don't already get comedy.
And I think there's a degree. We were talking about this last night to a degree of like you can't. Stand up is so competitive right now.
You can't bomb.
You can't just be bombing like that. Your clubs will stop working.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some spaces that will encourage you, but like they'll just stop.
You gotta
working.
you gotta do a B+ job at least. You gotta be bringing.
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You can't. It's at the Cellar. There's really no alt comics that I can think of really. Maybe Daniel Simonson is kind of an alt comic.
No,
not really.
But
not
no.
really. No, he's not.
He's different, but he's a comic.
Yeah.
Even like Martin Urbano is probably the closest
Oh,
to like an
yeah.
alt comic, but still, there's a lot of setups and pure
Punchlines,
punchlines
yeah.
that make it work in traditional spaces.
He's probably the altiest club comic I can think of.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
He's incredible.
He's like one of my favorites.
Leo Torres?
Julio Torres is alt.
Yeah, he was
comedy.
alt.
But I don't know how deep
Man.
he made it into like the
Yeah, I couldn't
traditional
see him
stand-up
going
scene.
up at 12:30 p.m. at the
Yeah,
Cellar.
yeah.
I couldn't see
with
that
with the
shapes and
Yeah,
It
everything.
might
shapes.
click in. It might once in a while click in, and people are dying.
Yeah, for
and then
sure.
other times. But like that's a perfect
was a
example
great
where if
show.
someone's like describing their favorite shape, like part of me's like, what the fuck? No.
Yeah.
I refuse.
I didn't pay
I
2 drinks
refuse.
for this. Yeah.
And
saw
then other
that live
times
and
I'm like, you idiot. I was talking about my parents. Shut the fuck up, you fucking hack. Wow. Talk about shapes.
Yeah,
Talk
you're
about
like- yeah,
shapes. You should be
it's-
talking about your favorite shapes, you loser.
It's like transcended at some point. Yep.
You were a bedwetter.
I was until maybe 21.
Was
yeah.
it consistent up until that point?
No, it probably was pretty regular till I was like 15 maybe. Pretty like 15, 16 probably.
How often?
Once a week maybe. Once every other week. It was a lot. I couldn't go. Sleepovers were my biggest nightmare. I was so scared of sleepovers. I would stay up all night. I couldn't fall asleep. So I'd wake up and my mom would pick me up in the morning. And I'd be like, I had a great time. I couldn't sleep all night because I knew I would wet the bed.
Yeah.
I couldn't drink the pop with everyone. I had to like dehydrate myself all the whole
Would
night.
that work?
Usually, yeah. But occasionally I'd have a sleeping bag and no one knows if you wet a sleeping bag. I did it a couple times. You just have some change of
You have
clothes.
a
Wrap
pitch
that thing
black
up.
sleeping bag.
Yeah, they
no
can't
changing
yep.
color of it's soaking wet.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, man.
You roll it up and you throw the wet clothes
It's
in the
just a
sleeping
trash bag.
Yeah, kind of. Mom's like, oh, I had to wash the fucking thing again. I had those fucking diaper sheets on my bed till I was like 15. Like
And they're
underneath.
not very, they're not very comfortable.
They're kind of crunchy.
Yeah,
they
they're
kind of
crunchy,
crunch.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had like a bed bug thing.
Oh,
like a
yeah.
bed bug protector.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
probably like that.
It was. The thing people don't know about bedwetting, it feels great. While you're wetting yourself, it's like one of the greatest because you're dreaming.
I was just
You're-
gonna ask
You're
you that.
dreaming about like getting into a hot tub. And you're like, but while you're pissing yourself, and it's like the warmest, most ethereal ecstasy you ever feel. It's amazing.
The-
no
It's
wonder
great.
you didn't need to masturbate.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
That's I'm like, I'm peeing here. Come
The last
on.
time I wet the bed, which was, I was a little kid, but I remember dreaming about it.
Yeah.
I dreamt that I was at a bathroom and that I was peeing, and I woke up and I peed myself.
It's almost always you're getting in a hot tub, you're
Yeah.
going in the ocean, you're sitting down peeing.
It was never. I need to pee. In the dream, you weren't like I'm peeing.
No,
in the
sometimes
dream.
no, you are. You're like I'm in
Yeah.
the ocean and I'm peeing
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
ocean
yeah, I
or
mean,
something, and it's
exactly.
amazing. It's a beautiful feeling.
Peeing in the ocean is a
It's a
nice
great
experience.
feeling. Unless
That's
it's the Dead
wonderful.
Sea, that hurts.
Really? Oh,
Yes.
too
Yeah,
salty?
it goes back into up your penis.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't-
Everything
That's good to
stings no
know.
matter what. Well,
Yeah.
they call it I think a horse bath because there's
Oh,
a degree of
really?
like if you've had sex the night before, the little tears and whatnot it'll sting even more from the salt.
Oh.
So there
Horse
was a
bath.
thing of like it's like the whore detector or something. But
I
you
love
know,
that.
if you get in there and you're like, you're like, you fucking slut. But your nipples will sting.
Yeah.
Like, and any
Your
kind of
asshole
sensitive-
hurt.
Your asshole will hurt.
I went.
Especially if you just got fucked.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You went to Israel, birthright.
I did go to
went
Israel.
I studied in Israel for a summer for college.
Uh-huh.
Not Jewish, but like religion. I studied religion in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Interesting country. It's just beautiful, but boy,
we had on the last episode we had an Israeli, a German Israeli, but very very critical of Israel.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know how to
very
talk about-
critical.
I don't know how to fucking talk. You're a history.
I love
buff.
history.
I don't know
love it.
enough to
Oh,
even
really?
like.
I love
I
it.
just even whisper at this point as if I'm like, have you heard of Israel? I don't even know. All I know is that I got offered to do something last year, and it was like an easy money thing, like comedians talking around a table about Israel. And I looked up the company and it was connected to Israel, and I said
it was
no.
a little think tank. Oh yeah, a little
I
Zionist.
said no to it, and it was like $3,000 for like half a day's work.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
And I felt
That's
like
what I'm making for this, right?
Yeah, for sure. For
this
sure.
is also sponsored by Israel. but I definitely like I don't even know how to speak about it.
But you said no. That's still cool. I like that.
Sure, and I would hope. I always hope that if any kind of politician wanted to do this show, I'd be like, no.
Yeah,
Because I know you're here to promote something.
To promote
And
some evil.
I'm not smart
war.
enough to have that. If I had you here, I'd be like, okay, you challenge him for me.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to. Yeah, bring Jeb Bush on here. I would love
Yeah,
that.
Jeb was the
That
one
would be the
who
one.
was asking.
That's who was asking.
But
Yeah, like what could they accomplish with a comedian think tank about Israel? Like what were they
they
trying
were
to
gonna
do?
promote Birthright. Birthright is this thing where it's
Birthright,
like,
they were
yeah.
oh, they were
Birthright
promoting
is
Birthright.
promoting the brand of Israel, but there's a degree of I live in America. America does all these atrocities. How there's just an easy way as an American to talk about Israel and not talk about the things that America does. because
Oh,
it's
for
not-
sure.
It's not necessarily to the people right next door to us. So it's not as easy to
We're-
show the lines. Maybe.
Oh yeah, we're funding their things they're doing. It's
Of
all
course.
it's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same.
So it's just like I just remember someone came up to me after a show and she was like, "I know a booker in Israel, and it raises money for victims of terrorism in Israel." And like,
which
automatically,
terrorism?
I'm like, which terrorism?
Yeah.
What's a thing? I know there's bad things, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And in luckily, as most things happens, the booker never reached out, and I did not have to deal
God.
with that moral conundrum.
Yeah, that would be a tough one. You're like, can we give half to Gaza too? And they'd be like, no.
Oh man, I can't wait for you to cut all this out.
It's
We're not gonna get specifics. We won't get.
All I know is that like because I wasn't raised very Jewish, I have no like special emotional ties to Israel. When I went to
Right.
I'm not gonna. But
You won't say no to Birthright. It's amazing. Why would you not go?
Of course, but I did do
Yeah,
a
I didn't
show.
do it.
I did do a show in Boston. It was like a storytelling show, but I told my Birthright story, which was like incredibly critical of the whole. It was a joke it was a joke-driven thing. At
Yeah.
no point did I go, but then I saw the wall and I thought of my people. None of that shit.
Yeah.
But someone came up to me after the show and said, so, you drank the Kool-Aid.
Oh.
And it was one of those where I'm like, buddy.
Well, on which side? What Kool-Aid?
The Israel Kool-Aid.
Oh, they thought you were being like a Zionist guy up there?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
purely because
Wow.
he
Yeah.
Just because you went on birthright?
Yeah.
Who says no to a free
Yeah,
2-week
exactly.
vacation?
It's a free
Let alone a Jew.
Yeah, let alone- it was made. Yeah, it was made for y'all.
I
I
remember
love it. They
that
should have.
was-
I would love a German thing. Let's go back to Auschwitz every year. Let me go back.
That was
Just
the
a
first,
free chip. Come on, I just want a trip.
This is gross to say. That's how much I respect. The first joke of mine is that you liked. It was on Instagram. It was a birthright. It was the because sometimes they don't let you on birthright if only your dad is Jewish. You're like rank lower, and the joke was you're Jewish enough for Germany, but not for Israel.
I love
and
that.
That was like that was right up. that was up your lane.
Love a Holocaust joke.
Yeah.
Is it true that we're not supposed to tell them at the Comedy Cellar? Should we talk about this on here? Maybe not.
No, I think
I heard
I've
that.
certainly told. I tell that Holocaust joke.
But I'm not Jewish, so I probably shouldn't. As I feel like I
don't
shouldn't.
know. I don't know.
Are there unwritten rules to the Comedy Cellar?
Every club has
Every
unwritten
club
rules.
has unwritten
Sure,
rules.
sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what the unwritten rules
Yeah.
are.
Okay. We probably shouldn't talk
As
about
a
it here.
Jew, I
You're
think there's
allowed.
none
Yeah,
for
you
me.
can. Yeah, you can. The one
I'm
you told
allowed.
last night was great.
I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I like that.
No, go
one.
for it. Go for it. I could
Okay,
use
I'll
the
do
spots.
it. Yeah. There we go. I'll do one.
I just do want to, because I do want to talk about Israel and your college education.
Yes.
A summer.
But bedwetting,
Summer.
I've always wondered with bedwetting. It's one of those things. I'm like, how does anyone stop bedwetting? Frankly, it's in your sleep.
It's just
my girlfriend has night terrors, and it's the same thing. It's like, well, how do we stop this? You're asleep.
Right.
You're not deciding this.
There's no. I didn't take medicine. It's no surgery. You're just like your bladder gets stronger. That's all it is. That's,
wow.
but
your
like,
bladder gets stronger.
Like it's like the muscle is too weak to keep in the piss. That was my understanding. That might not be true, but that's how I was told.
I sometimes I'll hold in a pee because I'm like, let's.
You're not
keep those
supposed to
muscles.
hold in pee either. It's
Then
like
how do you
it's-
strengthen it? Kegels?
The Kegels are okay. Yeah. Kegel.
You do Kegels?
Kegels. Absolutely.
I
I'm
do-
doing,
I'll
I'm
do
doing them.
Kegels, right?
I do
Can you hear
Kegels
them?
all the
Can you hear
time.
Can you imagine if you could hear the Kegel?
Only if it was like a ungreased wheel.
When I was
Yeah.
that's what that is.
That's
There
what
we
Kegels
go.
are.
When
That's
I was
ungrace.
coming too fast with that first girlfriend in high school,
Oh,
they said Kegels would do it.
Yep.
And it
I've
would-
done
it
them,
would-
but they don't seem to do anything.
It would be really uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable. I remember being in Latin class, and I would just like try to like hold it for 10 minutes, and you get tired. It's awful.
Oh yeah, they
Oh,
can
you
get
were holding
sore.
it.
Yeah, you're supposed to
See,
hold it for like
Ready?
10 seconds.
Tell me how
then
long you
really-
can hold.
I'm holding it right now.
Okay, I'm looking at the timer right now. We can talk during it.
we
We don't want to.
It's tough to talk during it, though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I
tough
can't
to
think about
talk.
anything else. I can't.
I
think
used
about
to do
anything
10
else.
sets of 10 seconds. It was like a lift I would do. Like if I'm not doing it, I'm on standing on the train.
Okay, I just
Okay,
like
I'll do
it.
10 Kegels right now.
I mean, did you see a
Wow.
lot of doctors? This is like a real inconvenience.
the bedwetting, it's not that uncommon, honestly. It's like 10% of people wet the bed till they're like 15 or something like that. It's not that rare.
Once a week?
Yeah, or once a week, once a
my
month.
God.
It was like once a week till I was 12, maybe like once a month till 15. Yeah.
Do you feel like you just grew out of it, or do you think
Pretty
you-
much, yeah. I just stopped doing it, and then college like once or twice, but that might have been because I was drunk too. I don't, who knows at that point.
Are you in therapy?
My therapist quit therapy, but that's a little thing to think about.
Because they were retiring, or like
She was doing some other like type of therapy, or not a different type of. I don't really understand, but she kind of quit therapy to do something
that sounds
lesser.
like an excuse, like a breakup.
Yeah.
She did like
I'm doing a
something
different
else.
kind
She
of
didn't really
therapy.
tell me. She didn't really like teletherapy or something like that. Like that like Michael Phelps thing. That's what she was doing. Because there's a lot of more money in
Oh, the
that.
BetterHelp.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in
BetterHelp,
that.
which I feel like
It's a scam. My girlfriend's a therapist, and she's like, "That's a scam." Mostly.
Is it really BetterHelp?
They like really don't know what they're doing, and it's kind of just like a Band-Aid.
But
It
just
doesn't really help
I
you.
do have to do this. We want to give a shout out to our sponsors, BetterHelp. You are making the world a better place. We appreciate you.
It's all good.
Honestly, no. I mean, listen. I think it's good for people to do therapy,
It
but
is good.
automatically, anytime anything's commodified. I have a skepticism.
Yes.
Sure.
And I think
Yes.
especially when you start therapy not in person. I mean, I have not gone back to in-person therapy.
Never. I never
Really?
did it.
Since I used to do it.
Oh, really?
And there's something obviously so much better about
Yes.
being in
Oh,
the room
yeah,
and
yeah.
being able to smell your therapist. There's something.
I didn't care about the smell so much. That wasn't my thing.
I'm saying there's that was a joke, but there was a degree of when you're with another human being.
Yeah.
Of course, that's
Yes.
better.
There's more intimacy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I would argue smells are part of that.
A smell
Sure.
is a part. Yeah. My girlfriend says they're probably never going back to in person. A lot of
My
places
therapist
are.
offered me.
Oh, they did.
She'd go into the office once a week now.
Okay.
But it's just like it's not convenient.
Yeah, it's not. So my girlfriend made a good point. Like, it's kind of sometimes it's scary for the therapist because like people are weird and like there's been times where like people are like kind of like violent and like stuff. You're alone in a room with a guy who's talking about beating his wife, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, he could beat me right now.
Sure.
So a lot of therapists.
I do couples counseling. That's in person.
Yeah. Oh, you do. Oh, okay. You do that. You do both.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Damn.
He's got a
Double.
he's got a
That's
lot of
good.
issues.
You got to do that.
I think couples counseling is so. I'm so such a fan of it that
I would
part
love
of me is
that.
like, I want a one session with like each one of my close friends once a year.
Oh, like a friend's
A friendship
counseling.
check-in.
Oh, absolutely.
Like just with one specific friend who I feel like
That would do more
has
harm
stuff
than
bottled
good.
up. You think so?
That would do more harm than good.
You think
I
it
feel
would-
like a once a year check-in is just like a chance for you to air your grievances.
That's good, though.
For an hour.
I think
and
that's
then,
good.
And then fucking go on with your life. You would never be friends with that person again.
But then you shouldn't have been friends with them.
You like
you could
if-
argue.
What would be
You
your
could
leading
argue
thing
that.
about me if we went to couples counseling?
I don't know.
Here we go.
Let me think about that. Let me
Don't
think about
chicken
that.
out.
But that's the thing. I mean, it's just great. I just think it's great.
Everyone should have an airing. I mean, that's the Seinfeld episode, the airing of
The airing of
grievances.
grievances.
Everyone should do that every year with someone. We bottle it all up and then you let it out at another friend's funeral or whatever. You never get it out.
I
That was a little dark. That was a little dark.
so you've not wet the bed. You have a girlfriend right now.
I do live with my girlfriend.
And you've
right
not
now.
wet the bed?
No, I have not in a decade.
If you did, would it be funny at this point? I feel like
I would.
It
It would be a little. It'd be a little throwback. It'd be a little nostalgic. Like, oh,
TBT.
I'd probably get addicted to it again. Like, oh, that's the feel. That's the vibe I was missing. That'd be great.
I said this on Caitlin Palufo's podcast, but I was with a girlfriend in college and she was high. We were both high, and she was on top, and I thought she was squirting, but it turns out like I remember we were very stoned, and I remember just being like, oh my god, she's squirting, and I was like, that's a lot of squirt, and then I was like, it's so warm, and she peed fully
While you were having sex with her,
while she was on top. Yeah.
and she's peeing the whole. What?
Peed fully, and which I thought wasn't even like
I bet that felt good.
for it. Well, that's the thing. In the
Like,
beginning, it was
oh.
a degree of like warmth. I mean, it's
Yeah,
warmth
it's warm.
and wet.
It's warm.
And I just remember because like I'm squeamish about that stuff, but in that moment, I was like, I think I immediately was like, this is horrifying for her. I became like a super adult where I was like, oh, looks like you peed the bed. It's okay. It's
You don't
in my
say
head,
anything.
in my head, I'm like, I don't know if I could ever have sex again.
Do you keep going after the piss is done?
No,
or you're
sex
like,
was done.
Oh,
Sex was
okay,
over.
okay.
And I just remember like taking the sheets, like kind of getting all the corners. I'm sure
Meanwhile,
you're
being
familiar.
like, it
Yes,
happens
yeah.
to a lot of girls.
Yeah.
This
It happens.
this happens.
It happens.
yeah.
No worries.
Never happened again since.
I've never seen that happen. That's wild.
No,
That's
no.
why people are into piss play, though. It's nice and warm.
Not me. I can't
mean,
imagine.
I'm not for that. I've done it to myself enough. I'm not going to pay someone else.
You've done
I don't
piss
need-
play?
Patrice
I don't need
O'Neill had
to.
that famous bit. That's how he found out he had diabetes. He was pissing on his girlfriend, who is in the comedy scene.
Oh wow, yeah.
And she said like, "Baby, your pee tastes like birthday cake."
Oh my god.
And it's
Oh,
because
that's
of the diabetes.
right.
Get out of here.
It becomes really sweet.
Oh, that's how he found out. And
If it
according to
tasted
his-
like birthday cake, I would be curious.
then
for a
I'd be
second.
into
Yeah.
it. Then I'd be like, okay, we don't need to cure this yet. Let's get a couple gallons of this diabetes pee first.
Are you into piss play?
No.
That's the thing, though. You don't know. You don't know
You
what
don't know.
anyone's into.
You don't know.
Russell could be into piss play, and I would have no idea.
And you wouldn't say it. I wouldn't say it. We're all
Russell
hiding
could be
our
a-
own little things.
Yeah.
We're all looking at each other like, what are you really into?
Yeah, right?
No one knows. Only our exes know.
Yeah.
That's why you gotta.
That's a fun thing to do. That's a fun game to play. It's like, what are you
If anyone's
really
kinky
into?
on
Yeah.
our sketch team, I would say it's Russell.
Yeah.
I can see Russell having like outfits.
Yeah.
And he has
Oh.
wigs. He's into wigs.
He likes wigs.
Well,
And he has more wigs than
Oh.
we've used them in sketches for. So what were those other
What
ones
are they
for?
for? We all have a little. Everyone has a kink.
Yeah.
Everyone has a couple kinks. It gets boring otherwise.
So you went to college for religion, and
I
there was a part of me
did.
where I was like, why would you
religion?
go to college for religion? And then hearing your full story, I'm like, of course you did.
I love religion. I think it rips. I'm a huge religion guy. I also did history too, but they're both useless.
You were
But
raised Catholic?
Yes, Catholic school. Yes,
Me too.
You did? Did you Catholic school?
I didn't do
He's-
Catholic school.
Oh,
He's a
okay.
Jew.
Oh,
I'm not. I'm a confirmed Catholic.
Whoa.
You're a confirmed Catholic, but
My father's
Jew.
Jewish. My father's Jewish.
Oh, does that make you?
You're uncomfortable with me saying you're a Jew.
No, I'm not. I'm not. No, I
do you
in order to like.
Are
to-
you
to-
not Jewish then? If you're confirmed Catholic, or
Yeah,
do they
I mean,
know? They must have known.
First of all, I'm an atheist. I do not believe in God.
Right,
I'm not.
right.
Yes, we know.
no,
It's assumed. On the
Yeah.
downside, it's assumed you're an
It's
atheist.
assumed.
An atheist. But I was.
You believe in God?
I believe in a God.
gotta go into that. I'm
I
dying
don't
to go into
believe
that.
in a Christian God anymore. No, I like religion. I think
That'd
it's
be
interesting.
shocking if you were like.
I believe in the Bible, Exodus, and I love that Leviticus.
Leviticus.
Yeah.
So, okay,
I
you
have
were
no,
raised.
no. I love my Jewish heritage. In fact, my that side of my family's my favorite part of that family. The
Oh
Jewish side
yeah,
of my
I
family.
bet. Jewish culture is awesome. I
Yeah,
love
yeah, yeah.
Shabbat. It's
Yeah.
a great thing.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
so sad. I can never do it because of this.
Oh, right,
profession.
you can't do-
It's sad for
right.
Topher.
We go to Passover and it's,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's there. It's great, but no, I mean, if we're talking technically, like my mother is Catholic, and I was an altar boy.
Altar boy, yeah.
Did you do that?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I thought it was
man.
the coolest thing. You're like, I'm helping out the priest.
But how bad is
We're
the
bringing
priest
the bread? Oh, they're so boring
Priest
too.
breath is the worst.
Yeah, ours wasn't like a touchy guy, but he was.
No, me either.
It was almost like maybe touch someone and have a little personality. At least you have something interesting about you. He was so boring.
You liked being an altar boy?
I like doing something.
It was
during
better
the
than
fucking
regular mass.
Boring ass mass.
What does an altar boy do during the mass?
You bring up the book to the the Bible. You bring up the book. You help
good
him.
one?
The good book. You help him hand out the bread if you're old enough.
Yeah, you light the candles.
Yeah, light the candles. There's incense
do
maybe.
you put the bread on the tongue, or do you hand it to the? hand?
That's like old school. Old school people do that. It's mostly in the hands. Old people are
Once
like,
the church got busted, they said, "Okay, Father, we're gonna
you can't
put
touch
it in the hand,
tongues
please."
anymore.
Yeah.
Those dirty hands. Yeah, I like Catholic music though. I liked the music. I have a soft spot for a few Catholic hymns.
The whenever they went to the verse, it was like ba da 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 da. Ba-da-da-da-da. Like every verse always sounded exactly the same.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do all the
Yeah.
da 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 da.
Mine is the glory of the Lord. He is risen. It was always
Yeah.
the fucking
Do we have to
same.
pay copyright for that? If you have a kid,
Yeah.
are you gonna bring him to church every once in a while?
No.
But
That-
you're talking about it so affectionately. I'm shocked.
I mean, I guess
It's Douglas who has to. If you talk religion, he has to reaffirm that he's an atheist for everyone.
Is that one of my things?
No, I've just heard
know me. I'm an atheist. That's my.
God is stupid.
No, it's just interesting. It's not like you're obnoxious about it, but you are someone who like makes a point of it. I've heard it enough times that you feel a need to make a point of it, and I don't know if that has to
Yeah.
do with your parents.
It must be.
But you won't go to therapy, so we'll never know.
That's not true. I went to therapy when I was a kid, but no, I do think it has something to do with my parents and my mother. I fight with my mother. My mother
About
thinks,
religion?
Yeah,
Is
very
she
much.
really into Catholicism?
Very much.
My parents are pretty. They're not Catholic anymore, but they're still very Christian.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
They're like the Universalist or some shit. Yeah.
Oh.
Like yeah, they actually went more right wing. Honestly,
Is that's where
Yeah.
you're like in a stadium and there's like a
Yeah,
rock
yeah,
band.
yeah.
There's like
The,
a
the
rock
priest
band
doesn't
playing.
wear the garments anymore. He's in like jeans and
Yeah.
a t-shirt. But there's a drummer and a bassist. They're doing guitar solos. But
Totally.
it's somehow they're fitting in hate too. It's
Yeah.
like bizarre. It's like rock and roll bigotry.
They still managed to get the hate in
Yeah, they
there.
somehow fit it in. It's even worse, honestly. I actually respect the Catholicism because, like, at least if we're doing a 2,000-year-old prayer, I expect some hate. if you're bringing in all this modern stuff, you'd think you'd modernize the ideology too, but they don't. It's so boring.
Yeah. I remember every once in a while the priest would just subtly pray for a politician. You know, like one of his, you know,
Like not by name, but be like,
no, by name, like, you know, because we pray for the Pope, we pray
Always
for the
pray for the bishops,
we pray
yeah.
for the bishops, and then they pray that this president does his thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like subtle.
They'd be like the Senator Norm Coleman. I hope Norm Coleman makes the right decision this weekend or something like that. Yeah.
these churches, no church has ever gotten in trouble because they're not supposed to endorse politically because they're not taxed, correct?
I think they're not legally allowed to, but they do.
They do.
Oh, they. I
And
mean,
no
they,
one's
they,
ever.
They don't.
no one's.
They don't need to explicitly say it's Republican, but being against gay marriage and saying Muslims are icky, you kind of know which way they're leaning.
That is the official stance.
They say they're a little icky. It's in Corinthians. You know, they weren't even a religion yet, but God predicted it.
That's really funny.
So, you were raised Catholic, and you have respect for it.
I think it's a very evil thing, but I think they have done a few good things. They kept like literature alive during the Dark Ages, and they weren't as anti-science as you're led to believe, but they're generally evil. Yeah, 80% evil.
Do you remember
There's
what age you like really found out about like the pedophiles?
Oh yeah, that's something they really keep under locks. You didn't hear about that till college, really.
Yeah.
Or you knew that like what you were like, oh, it's just a couple, one in every century or whatever. But now you realize it's like most of the money you're giving to the basket every week is going to legal settlements
Jesus.
for pedophiles.
Oh, man.
Like the Minnesota alone gave like $10 million last year in legal settlements.
That would raise more money if it's going to the victims. I'd be like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, give some money for the victims of the guy up there.
Oh man.
And they just shuffle them to. It's so bad. They just shuffle them. They don't even send them to jail almost ever.
When was the Boston Globe? What year was that?
That was maybe early 2000s. That was the one we heard about. It was Bernard Law. I remember the guy's name. You're like, that's the one. They're bad, but they're not here. It's not here.
My teacher, my psychology teacher in high school, talked about like a guy in DC who had a sign that was like the Catholic Church is filled with pedophiles, and he was the crazy guy on the street.
Right.
And then one day he was fully vindicated.
Right. Then is QAnon going to be that?
Yes, that's
Is it going to be like all the Democrats? They were pedophiles. They were drinking adrenochrome the whole time.
Did that rock your parents? Do you remember that moment? Like, did your parents like?
That is one reason they left the Catholic Church.
Oh, really?
Because now I'm pretty sure the guy in the jeans can get married. I think he can get married.
Yeah, they're pastors.
They're
They're
not priests.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
pastors,
yeah,
or
yeah.
even something even less than that. Yeah,
So-
like Leader Jerry. I think it might be Leader. I can't remember exactly.
Really?
I've only been to it a couple times. It's kind of I don't like it.
But you don't go to anything. Any
No,
kind of service
I
now?
don't. No. I did maybe until I was like 24. I go like 3 times a year. We still go to Christmas.
A lot of things
if I'm
happen
home.
to you in your 20s.
Yeah, you're right. That is kind of when it all. Well, because I graduated and then I started comedy, and then comedy kind of opened me up because I was kind of a sheltered. I lived in a very sheltered, conservative, all
Were you
white
as cynical
town.
and pessimistic and biting and?
I was a huge hardcore atheist in college, and then I kind of came back to religion a little bit. I'm not religious.
Why
but
does an atheist go to study religion in college?
To get to the other side.
No, that's really good.
just sounded
That's
like a joke.
It does. It's like to get to the other side, heaven or hell. That's beautiful. I don't even think you realize how genius that was. that was great. Well, I just think I think people don't know enough about religion. It's crazy that religion literally
It's tied to history.
It shapes everything that's happening in politics right now, and people
Sure.
don't know
Oh my God.
enough about it. Like whether you believe in it or not, you should still know what the Quran says. You
It
should
feels-
still
Sure.
know Hinduism.
As someone who was raised with no religion,
Religion.
I mean, not really.
You weren't raised with any?
No, I mean my father was raised by my step grandfather who kind of raised my dad after his dad left was a Catholic priest.
Oh.
Fell in love with my grandma, was a secretary. He was dean of students at Georgetown University.
Oh wow.
He asked he wrote the Pope, "Can you make an exception?"
For
Can
me
I-
to marry?
Yeah. Can you make an exception?
Out of all the priests?
He was very optimistic. That's why he was religious. And they sent him to a psych ward. they sent him to a psych ward because they said, you're the dean of students. You're throwing away your life for your secretary who has kids. Are you out of your mind?
That's
at
so
least
funny.
At least date a bitch with no kids. Like, this is a lot of stuff. And he was
crazy.
excommunicated. He left the priesthood.
My God.
But like many former priests, he had an affection. He was part of all the blogs of like not the lapsed Catholics who hated the church now, but like who still loved the church and loved
like-
hearing the news.
They have some infractions, but they're good. deep
even though he was
down.
excommunicated according to his faith, he would
That's-
go to hell.
That's great. He didn't even leave Catholicism. He kept believing in that. He didn't even go to Lutheranism. You can marry in that.
He was still
He
part of
went-
it. And I went through, when I was in college, I had like just a existential crisis mixed with no religion growing up, mixed with like OCD thoughts about dying. And he was one of those people who like kind of tried to talk to me in a way that no one had talked to me before, spirituality or whatever.
Right,
and, and gave me a book by Martin Gardner, who was a mathematician who was, I've always described myself as a fideist. I believe in God because it feels good to do so.
Oh yeah,
And,
I like that.
And I'm a little more than that. I'm a little fruity in my thinking.
You got some hippie tendencies.
Yeah, but there's another part of me that I'm like, you're lying to yourself.
I have that. Yeah, I think I know that Jesus wasn't born from a virgin. I think I know that, but I still believe it, even though I know it's not true.
I struggle with
If that makes sense.
Oh,
It's weird.
I feel more like I don't want to be an atheist, but I fear that I am.
I just
Yeah.
don't think of it as a bad thing. I think it's more fun. I think it's more fun and more special to believe that you only get this one go around. Better sit in a triangle and talk into a microphone.
Yeah, better do a podcast.
Yeah. Like I just think that and with Jesus, it's like, no, Jesus was an amazing person. Why do we have to take the
Or he wasn't in the story is.
The story's good. He has good ideas. Whether
just thought-
Harry Potter has good ideas.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't matter.
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. Yeah, I agree with her.
The story's better than the source.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the same as the Bible. That's funny.
I just think it takes. I think it's like, why do we have to make him a god? Why can't he just be a fun, good person?
Right.
But I think I'm of the mind. I'm like I definitely feel like sadly Bill Maher-ish, and where I'm like, get rid of it all. Get rid of it all.
That's how I feel.
I mean, you have.
That's how I feel.
It's so hard to write a comedy about astrology because it's kind of like it's almost obvious.
It's so-
But you have the thing about you can't criticize people for global warming. Who you can't criticize people who don't believe in global warming if you believe in astrology.
Yes.
Because you're both engaging in irrational thought. And
Yes.
I hate astrology.
I think it's the
hate
dumbest
it.
thing in the
so
entire
terrible.
world. It makes me so angry when people are like
But you know why they're going to
unironically.
it? There's no religion anymore.
Yeah, they can't. Everyone needs to believe in something, so they picked this bizarre meme that. I mean, it's old Chinese astrology, but why did they? Why? There's more evidence for Jesus than astrology, by far. It's not even close. Would go to Jesus or
But why
Muhammad.
do you have more? I think when I heard in middle school they say Karl Marx said religion is the opiate of the masses.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, and that was it. Like I hate it. I hate religion.
I think organized religion is dumb, but I think like religious thought can be interesting, but being part of any group is kind of stupid.
I kind of
In the
Tova's
end,
made me. Tova has. I can appreciate groups and community.
That's
and
right.
as you get older and like your body starts to go, and I'm not close with my family, I'm like, oh, it would be nice if
to believe that.
or just to have like, oh, a group of men. I can go somewhere and an older group of men will automatically show me a little bit of kindness and friendship and talk
Sure.
to me.
Right. That's why incels do it.
Sure.
They just need a little
But that's
community.
why. It's a lack
It
of
is,
community.
yeah.
Well, I think that like religion and politics are alike in that you realize that it's the most local is the best, right?
Oh,
like,
true.
Like your church is, if it's a group of people, like, a community, that's nice. But on a grander scale,
Right.
is where it
Like a
where
local
things go
church,
wrong.
like they make a playground.
Exactly.
Catholic schools do educate a lot of people that
Yeah.
wouldn't have education
There was
otherwise.
a church recently that did a unauthorized production of Hamilton.
Okay.
But they changed it where like it was an anti-gay message.
What? How? They wrote new raps?
They wrote
They
new
changed
raps.
the raps.
They worked so hard.
That's kind of beautiful. They put a lot of work into that.
Actually,
Let
we got
them
a
hate.
song from it right now. No gays.
What if we got sued for playing that? I mean,
is
whoever
that?
wrote that? Whoever wrote that, I hope they didn't hear about it and they got a check from Spotify for $1,000.
Yeah, like,
and they were
what the fuck?
What the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah.
Is it like that the whole song?
Yeah.
Is it
It
like?
becomes
Is there
like-
are there words or it's an
No,
instrumental?
there's no
no
words. But it
Oh.
starts off differently. I mean, it's a wild ride.
By the way,
Weird.
I learned about this at the cabin, and Russell was reading it to us, crying with laughter. Russell, this is like Russell's favorite thing of all
It's a
time.
very
is this-
funny
is this-
story.
is
It
this
was,
story.
It's
and then some
great.
people on TikTok showed themselves pumping to it, and it was just like,
Oh god, it's so funny.
so okay. Tell me the God that you believe in.
The God I believe in. I believe in a God, and I see him through a Christian lens because that's how I was raised, and I saw that stuff. But I don't actually think that's true. But it's just like comfortable. Like I read the Bible. I read the Bible once when I was a kid, once in college for like school, and so that's the only way I could see it. Even though I know God isn't a bearded white man who had a son named Jesus, but that's the only way I can't see it
him
any
with
other
a
way.
face like a
It looks just like when he comes in The Simpsons or whatever.
really.
Yeah.
And
that's-
when do you think of it? When you're feeling sad, you think of him patting you
yeah,
on the head and saying, "Good doggy."
yeah. Like I always,
Here's some jokes.
I always imagine like after I died that what happens is you just are in like a viewing room and you can just view all of human history and just watch it.
So
That's my idea of heaven. Is I could just watch Genghis Khan on campaign, rape what he rapes, pillage what he
that would be the
hell
pillages,
test of heaven or hell. What do you want to watch first? Genghis Khan.
build a pyramid of skulls.
So I think I'm only interested because like, and I think there's also like sometimes when someone's joke writing is good, I'm like, oh, I respect their intellect. But there's good comedians who are
Very
Yeah,
stupid.
very stupid.
I'm not very good at explicating what I believe in. One thing we read that was interesting in college is that all religions are like shining light on a mountain, but from different directions. They're all shining light on the same inedible truth or whatever.
Oh,
They're
and-
all going towards some ultimate source.
Yeah, and
but
the-
they're kind of just grasping in the dark for it.
And the other way to say that is that it's all the wrong answer to the wrong question.
That
Every
could be.
religion is the wrong answer to
It's
the wrong
on the
question.
wrong mountain.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
looking
yeah.
at the wrong mountain.
It's all like
I think in
or
my
the goal isn't even to climb the mountain.
Yeah,
We all- yeah.
I think in my mind, there's a degree of speaking of the wrong question. It's like any conception of our religion like seems to involve us in a very particular way.
Yeah, why would God create just us in all this universe of 10 billion stars and then he looks like us? It makes no sense.
the only
Yeah.
thing that,
Why would
that-
it doesn't
the only thing that leads me to religion are why is there something rather than nothing? I think like the core of that question, what that means, is
Yeah.
moving, and then consciousness to me is like is special in a certain way that makes me go,
there must be something. I think and also the beginning, what sparks it?
Yeah.
Like you got the bigger bang, but they don't explain why it bangs. At
let me
least
tell
not
you,
in my opinion.
when
Not that I know. I don't know enough, honestly.
Me either.
when I was going through this existential crisis, I probably have the book here. It was a scientist, something Freeman, and he was talking about how the universe might be expanding at an accelerating rate.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it talked about how that means that someday there will be nothingness for eternity. And like reading, I was at an age where the reading of that sentence ruined my year. The thought of it
Yeah.
ruined my year. But I guess so. Do you have any thoughts about? I think the problem of not evil, the problem of pain and suffering,
Like,
is what
why
I would
does it
call
exist?
When I think about, I often think about the fact that I shouldn't be eating meat, and I think about like
Right.
animals and the insurmountable pain that we've put creatures
Oh, yeah.
through.
Just
I
blow
see
a
videos
lead-
of animals eating
yeah.
each other, human beings, cancer, disease, and I think, what could possibly justify
Yeah.
this level of pain?
Theodicy, that's the study of why God creates evil. And
Theodicy.
Theodicy.
Do you neglect it, or do you? And I know the thing of like the pain makes tests your soul, and I'm like, well, some people are being tested a lot harder than
Yeah.
others for no fucking apparent reason.
I used to
Wow.
think that like, oh, it's God. Now I've come to the conclusion. I think that God kind of created us or something, some power created us, and he gave us the tools to be good, and we just chose not to do it. I don't think God has any. I think God just let us go, and we made this world.
Do you try to live
It could have been a good world, but we fucked up. That's what I would say.
But how could it be a good world when part of the world is that certain animals eat other animals?
Well, yeah, they're that, but the eating, but like the war, we could have not had war. We could have not had greed and rape and all that. That didn't have to happen.
Sure, but the dolphins rape each other too.
That,
I don't know. I
Yeah,
think
well,
sometimes when
yeah.
you're taking, like, I think it's so interesting. I mean, God, this might be torture, but like Descartes. You know, he was the I think therefore I am.
Sure.
Where he was of the mind, he believed in souls, and like a big part of the whole conception was animals don't have souls, and it's like. Yeah, because if they do, we have
It's
to
bad.
acknowledge
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
terrible
We have to
shit.
feel bad.
The whole you have to take in all of this shit.
Yeah, this burger is a childhood. Yeah, it's not as
Yeah.
good to think about. Yeah, meat is a tough one. I try not to eat it, but it's so good.
It's so good.
It's good. The
In my-
Beyond's getting good though. The fake meat ain't
In my
bad.
mind, I have this. It's the laziest version of morality. I'm like, oh, one day I'll have more money, which is also bad, and then I'll have like chefs who will prepare me all sorts of vegan meals that are delicious.
Right.
It's the same way. There's sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be a big tipper when I'm so rich it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
That's not
That's-
good.
Yeah.
That's nothing. Then you've accomplished nothing. You fucking loser.
When I
I'll
own
give
the
away the money I
restaurant.
don't care about.
Yeah, when I own the restaurant that underpays the workers, I'll tip them.
Do you deserve to go to heaven?
No.
But
I
no
do
one
not.
does.
I
have a
believe
bit about that.
I believe almost no one deserves to go to heaven. Yeah. If
What
it's,
is the point of even believing in that?
I agree. Yeah,
For
it's
comfort, so you don't
strange.
scream when you almost die.
You wanna have someone
when the
to look
plane
up
shakes,
to.
So you don't start jerking off there because you're like, this could be it. We need order. You need to believe in something.
You need to believe in something,
know what I
even
hate?
if it's not real.
when some people are like, oh, you have to believe in you have to do good deeds so you can believe in a reward. Just do good deeds. And I'm like, sometimes you need rewards. Rewards aren't inherently
Sure.
a bad thing.
It's not
You want to
bad.
do the harder thing. You're not saying, oh, I'm going to do this and then I get to do something
Yeah.
really evil. You do this. It's okay.
And
Yeah.
also, like, you'll have people. I hate every year. Someone will be like, the Salvation Army does that bell ringing, and people they're outside, give money to them. I used to bell ring in high school, and then people are like, well, they hate gay people, and it's like, yeah, but they tweet that, and then they don't donate to any charity. They're just saying that they're homophobic without adding anything to the world.
Well, we
Like
have
the Salvation
Jabuki on
Army.
the line to have his feedback for this.
Well, we named the name. That's fine. That's fine. He quit comedy.
He's an actor now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's where they all go.
I love that.
The most successful stand-up comics, you become an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was all public.
Yeah. No. It's not a big deal. No.
Please don't ask me to cut it. I will
not. I truly don't.
Oh my god! If I have to cut one more fucking thing,
I say retard
I think
on
you're doing
stage
it
a
wrong.
lot.
I want to see. I want to see how you do your things. I think you're doing it wrong. I bet you there's an easy way that I can. Maybe if we spend a moment and at the end of this, and you're like, and then I do this, I'll be like, no.
I never sympathized with the term mansplaining.
Until right now.
Until right now.
There's a feeling of like, oh, you don't think I know?
You don't know how to edit on Premiere?
I know how to.
Okay, then fine. If it's taking
very-
you 10 hours, that's a long time.
Maybe I exaggerated for comedic effect.
Okay,
With all the
okay.
maybe it
clips?
takes me 5 minutes
Okay.
actually.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's an annoying 5
Yeah,
minutes,
yeah.
and I don't
well,
like to
there it
repeat
is.
it.
Well, then good. Then that's fine. It sounds like you're doing it great. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next segment.
This has got to stop.
This has got to stop.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
This is
It's
gotta
also him.
stop. I love this.
What's something that's got to stop?
I was thinking, it's got to stop that when people constantly talk about how good celebrities look at their age. When someone's like, oh, J-Lo looks incredible at 52, it's like, yeah, she's rich. She's never had to help a friend move. She doesn't have to go to the DMV. She doesn't wait on hold on the phone. She has no stress. She has a personal chef, physical trainer. Of course she's hot. That's not amazing at all. Show me a 52-year-old Waffle House waitress who's kept it tight. That's impressive. I'm not impressed if Rihanna looks good while pregnant. Of course. Oh, she doesn't have to worry about affording diapers once it comes out. It's not. We also don't let people age. You can look old. You don't have to look hot at 75.
I will add, I hate when, like, it's more with men. I feel like there's men that are not. John Mulaney is a decent looking person.
Yes.
Yeah.
If he looks sexy, it's because of money that has enhanced his teeth, his skin, his
Yes.
hair, his outfits. But there's this degree of like, oh, these were stunning people, and I'm like, no, with money,
Made them hot.
Anyone can upgrade.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyone's teeth can get better.
Yeah.
If you can
Everyone's
buy
teeth
a
can get
teeth
better.
cleaning every month,
Yeah.
my smile would be great.
But they'll be like, they're so sexy. And I'm like, if they had not succeeded and you saw them at the Grizzly Pear,
They'd
they
be a
would not
5.
be sexy.
They would not be.
Yeah.
They would not
And
be.
also they're wearing makeup. Like that's the point of that is
they're-
to shape their face.
And they don't
to-
even have to waste their time. Someone puts it on for
Yeah.
them every fucking day. Someone makes they eat the perfect meal every day. They have the perfect skin cream.
Yeah.
It's not impressive. I'm
right.
done with that.
$1 million. What are you fixing first about yourself?
Oh man, I would get rid of my tummy. I'd get like
A tummy
liposuction
tuck
something
or
like
whatever
that.
they call it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, I think about that all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
You think you will someday?
I don't think so. No. Well, because I also lost a lot of weight, so I feel like I have like extra.
Oh, the whatever skin
skin or
folds or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
yeah.
$1 million.
I get these 2 moles removed on my face.
What
Probably.
does that take, $10?
Yeah, that
Do
wouldn't
it
be
now.
a lot. I would get that. Well, I have a big birthmark on my ass. I'd get removed too, like that big. Looks like
Is it elevated?
no, but it's the color of poop, and it looks like it has hair like this on it. No,
You gotta pluck those hairs,
Yeah,
dude. You gotta get those hairs out.
shave
Of
it
It
it.
is
sometimes.
stunning to me that you believe in God.
Whenever a girl sees me naked, they're like, "What the fuck?"
when people saw you naked, did you feel the need to be like, just
It's a birthmark. When I'm taking my box out the first
it's
time.
not shit with hair growing out of it.
I wipe. Well, because when I was a kid, I used to have a joke about this, but I thought it was dried shit that I didn't wipe off well enough. So I locked myself in the bathroom and would wipe it for hours because I thought it was just not wiping hard enough.
Oh.
And wiped it till it was raw. Because it's on the inside. It's kind of by the anus. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is such a cruel.
It's such
trick.
So stupid. Yeah. Incredible.
I mean, I want to
Yeah, what would
make
you
my
fix?
teeth a little better.
Oh, the
I don't know
teeth.
if I'd want to, but like, I have like a hairy ass,
Okay.
and I don't think I would like make the whole ass.
You get like laser
skinless,
hair removal.
but definitely like in the crack. I would love to be able to just wipe twice. I dream of the day of 2 wipes, and I'm
Oh,
done.
you got it gets stuck to the hairs and you're
Oh
wiping.
my God,
Oh.
I'm wiping, and I've said it on the podcast before. I'm sure this is everyone's least favorite, but I've had I had a roommate once, and he was like, "We go through toilet paper like really fast," and it was one of those things where I'm like, "Yeah, well, it's for a reason. What do you want me to fucking say? What
want
do
me
you
to
want
tell
do?
you about it?
You want me to get all the shit off in the shower every time? How about that?
But are you wrapping around
How
your
dare
hands?
you? How dare you? I know how to wipe. I know how to wipe. You're questioning how I wipe. I know how to wipe.
I have a hairy ass too. It's a dingleberry farm down there.
The dingle-
They dangle, and they come out when you least suspect
the
it.
most pathetic.
Gianmarco, after
back,
this, I'll show you. No.
back when I was, hooking up once a year with someone new, the most pathetic thing I have to do would be to go to the bathroom.
Oh, and why clean your ass out?
Well, I had to just check it.
Yeah.
Because dingleberries, you can't just wipe dingleberries out. You have
They're
to
there.
face the wall, turn like an owl, and fucking like
Spread your
open
cheeks.
and make
yeah.
sure. Because what could be worse?
Do you ever do the just like squat and wash your asshole and balls and dick in the tub?
No.
Wait, you fill the tub with water?
No. You don't fill it with water. You just you run nice warm water and you squat in the
Oh,
tub.
okay.
And you like give yourself a polish.
That would
like,
be nice.
Wash it all up.
I'm not against
Sure.
that.
Yeah,
Get the
yeah.
the gooch is where it all goes. Yeah,
Like, just clean all that
got it.
stuff up. Hi, mom.
Oh, mother.
But I think that the inverse to your complaint about was saying how good J-Lo looks is
Yeah.
that especially poor women or who's the guy from Friends who's had a tough go of it?
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry.
Yeah.
Like, man, they catch a picture of like an older woman who,
Right.
took a break from the industry, or Matthew Perry going to get a Starbucks, and they do a picture like, what happened to Matthew Perry?
You're like, I don't want to fuck him anymore. It's like, why do you care if he's hot? Who cares? That's what I don't
yeah,
get.
it's really cruel.
And
Yeah.
Lana Del Rey's she's getting dread because she's kind of fat now. They took Kelly Clarkson through the mill because she got kind of fat. It's like, why do you care?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
worry about your own body. You weren't gonna fuck her either way. It's not like
Sure.
It's not like, oh shit,
That's the thing.
I can't flirt with her anymore.
Whenever guys are like, I wouldn't fuck Lizzo, I'm like, Lizzo wouldn't fuck you because you're poor.
yeah, Yeah, you can't afford one meal she eats.
Yeah.
You couldn't afford to pay one dinner tab for her.
And it has nothing to do with her body.
I
mass
didn't
index.
even mean that.
It's because she goes to a nice restaurant.
She does.
That
She
is
likes
what
to
I
nice
meant,
restaurant.
but I know how it came out.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
understand how that came out.
Oh boy, that's the one. That's the one. Look,
That-
that's
'cause
what happens with Ari Spears.
Tiffany Haddish
It
went
happened-
after Lizzo, and there was
Ari Spears
it was
went
Ari
after
Spears.
Lizzo.
Oh, okay, and then he's
And
a
then-
pedophile. Yeah.
And then you don't know about this?
No.
Okay,
Oh,
so I'll do the
wow.
summary because I had to change all my bios because they say I was in the movie Here Today with Tiffany Haddish. And
Oh,
Because
wow.
well, I saw that Tiffany Haddish apologized for something, but I didn't understand why.
yeah.
She was like
So-
grooming, kind of.
So
little bit.
basically, well, Ari Spears was getting a lot of flack, and he's like someone who like has said shit for a while.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And he was like insulting Lizzo and calling himself handsome, and it was like people just dragged him, and he
Yeah.
deserved it. And then like 2 weeks later, like so close. Basically, there's a lawsuit against allegedly. Don't count on me for the facts. There's a lawsuit against Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears that they were filming a sketch that they posted on Funny or Die, and Funny or Die had to clarify that this was where you can upload videos to Funny or Die.
Anyone could upload,
They didn't
yeah.
produce it,
Oh.
and it was called like Through the Eyes of a Pedo, which already.
Not bad.
And
Not great.
Tiffany Haddish's comedian friend had a kid and a daughter.
Yeah,
two
yeah,
siblings.
yeah.
And this one was more about the son, and
He's like
basically
7 years old.
dropped them off to like be part of a sketch. And the sketch was Tiffany Haddish was dropping off the kid to be babysat by Ari Spears, who pedophile, and the kid was in his underwear. And like Ari Spears is like leering at him and has a newspaper with eye holes cut out.
And they're like zooming in on the kid's crotch and stuff like that.
And
yeah.
then
Jeez.
apparently there's some moment where like he's rubbing baby oil on the kid, and like it's just
I didn't know that.
And the it's all in the article. Like just the description itself is you know what the thing I was gonna do when Russell Daniels was my co-host? Normally I like to throw him under the bus. I was gonna say, hey, I want to say congrats to you for writing that sketch for Tiffany
So
Haddish.
they're
Good
getting
luck.
in trouble for this sketch.
There was more
but there's
to
a
it.
lawsuit where the kid traumatized and
Oh, he felt weird about it.
yeah.
felt weird.
He was
Yeah,
not a
yeah,
fan
yeah,
of
yeah,
it.
And the mom didn't know that's what the sketch was.
Oh,
they were
no.
told it
And
was just
didn't
like
get a good rating on Funny or Die.
yeah, it didn't even go viral. It didn't even go viral.
And so
The kid didn't know. The mom
they
didn't
knew it was
know.
like filming something. They didn't tell her what it was.
Oh,
and
my
Tiffany had
God.
this like, I mean, there could not be a more generic apology in the entire world. I posted it. Tiffany Haddish said on her thing, I know people have a bunch of questions. I get it. I'm right there with you. Which is very funny. Like, who approved of this sketch that I was in? Unfortunately, because there is an ongoing legal case, there's very little that I can say right now, which could be fair. But clearly, while the sketch was intended to be comedic, it wasn't funny at all. This is my favorite line. And I deeply regret having agreed to act in it. Now, this whole
there you
thing
go.
makes it sound like she was helping out with the call sheets as well, and maybe the catering and the crafty and the wardrobe.
She wrote the whole thing, I think.
But it's just the wording of act in it is
Yeah.
like so obvious.
Yeah,
to
she's
me,
trying
it's
to-
so obvious.
she's trying to distance herself.
Yes.
I really look forward to being able to share a lot more about the situation as soon as I can. Lizzo is beautiful, and it was but I'm saying like it is very clearly like this is going to be the pivoted onto Ari Spears move.
Oh yeah,
But they're both on video, baby. That's the
They're both, and she's the one who hooked the kids up to be in it. She was like their like godmother kind of like.
she was
thing.
the Geoffrey
Oh.
Epstein. She was the
she
Ghislaine
like-
Maxwell
Yeah,
of the
kind of.
situation.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Not good.
Tiffany Haddish looks great for her age, by the way.
She
But let's see in 10 years.
she's smearing-
Now that this is now she.
she's smearing little kid sweat over her skin. That keeps it looking good. That's the secret. That's the secret.
All right, let's move on to our final segment.
You better count your blessings.
Okay.
You better count your blessing. Douglas, what do you got for us? You got something good
What
happen
are
to
you
you?
grateful for?
You could do the same one you did with more detail.
Yeah,
You can do
yeah.
a little more detail. We did it on the other one pretty quick.
Sure. Well, I'm, just getting out into the woods in a cabin
Oh,
and
yeah.
being on a lake.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got to spend some time with some friends, and Gianmarco wasn't there.
You know what's
and it
funny?
was
You know
great.
what's funny? Because like we're kind of in a friend group, and like we do a lot of things together. And
Yeah.
then once in a while, you hang out with one of the friends and not the other.
Yeah.
And there's always a weird thing of like, do you tell each other? Is it going to hurt feelings?
Yeah.
For
And Douglas and I
Sure.
are both sensitive boys.
Yeah,
Douglas
yeah,
might
yeah,
hide it
but-
more than me, but
yeah,
we're
yeah,
both.
yeah.
I think we're both very sensitive boys.
Yeah,
Yes.
very
And it was
sensitive.
funny because I think I reached out to you. I asked about something, and you were like, "Oh no, I'm gonna be upstate, like doing." And I was like, "Oh, doing what?" And you're like, "Outdoor stuff." And it was with Russell, my co-host. And Russell had already told me about it. I had just forgotten.
Yeah.
But it was very
Oh.
funny. You phrased it to me in a vague way that to me was very clearly like, "Oh, I'm not going to say it's like with Russell alone." I think it was intentional.
I wasn't intentional. I promise. I wasn't like
Outdoor stuff is very vague.
Yeah.
And just to be
Outdoor
clear,
stuff.
even though I couldn't do it, hurt my feelings.
No. You said what's upstate. That's what you said. What's upstate? And I said the outdoors because that's I really mean that.
That's-
I
you're
really mean
true.
that. I
That's
was
true.
Like, that's what I was excited about. The out of doors. Because we live very.
No, I love getting outdoor.
my
The woods
God.
is one of the greatest things in the world.
And he had a paddleboard, and I've never done that
yeah.
before, and it was
that's
so much
fun.
fun.
Yeah,
God, it was
great.
amazing.
Oh, you stood on it?
Yeah.
Stand-up
it's very
paddleboarding is
fun.
fun.
Really
It's one of those
Yeah.
things where like it's not that hard, but it's hard enough where you're like, look what I did.
Look what I
it
did.
totally
Yeah.
is. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely
Try
right.
to stand on one leg on there. That's what I would always try to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Do some yoga on it or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
Right.
yeah. I'm not good at it, but it was kind of fun.
Yeah. Wow. That's impressive.
And say the thing about Russell because people what is Russell? Russell has a habit.
So Russell, kind of wherever he goes, he brings like laser lights and a smoke machine and amazing lights and
It's
puts
a
on
mental disorder for sure.
It
Wait, he
puts
brings
on,
these
puts on
in
an
the-
incredible dance party. And we had
Oh.
a dance party in this cabin.
For how many people?
6 people. 6 people.
That's
6 people.
amazing. Weird, but
Who
I
else
kind of like
was
it.
invited?
No. 6 people. And it was.
I mean, it's like it's a skill where like
It's
purpose, like,
amazing.
He just
could you
brings it
design
everywhere?
clubs, disco balls, and it's beautiful
It's
and it's
beautiful.
artistic
It
and
looks
it's
amazing.
Wow. Does he add new little foibles every time?
Yeah. Like he gets into new gear, new
Whoa.
stuff, and like he also plays amazing, fun music. And we just danced.
That's fun.
It was awesome. I think he just never liked going to dance clubs, and
Because they play terrible music.
exactly,
And it's expensive and loud.
loves dancing, and so him and his wife apparently they do it all the time.
That's
They're constantly
fun.
dancing at their own house
I
with
really
a smoke
like
machine.
that.
Because when you smoke, you can see the lasers and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's really fun. It was
Dang,
fun.
that's fun.
It was a good time.
I'm into that.
Russell, if you're listening, I'd love to go next time. My blessing. There's a screenwriter named Matt Hirshorn.
Okay.
Who has a movie called Wine Club that will soon be in festivals, and he basically he's just someone I met through Tova, and I just needed someone. I just need to talk through writing a script, a
okay.
screenplay, and I'm like very stuck. All I want to do is stand up. It's all I want to do.
Same
and
with me,
It's
yeah.
like to do anything else feels like fucking torture. But we just meet and he like lets me talk out ideas and like I think
Cool.
says things from a different perspective that makes me excited about it, and then I get all these ideas and then I don't do anything with them. But for him to
Great.
take the time
That's
Yeah.
really nice.
means
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot to me, and I have deep respect for the craft, so much so that I'm like I can't.
Yeah,
do
because
this.
we just want to get to the joke, and they're like, no, you have to have characters and,
And
flow
also just
and
the idea
build.
of you not having a reward for your work immediately.
Oh, yeah,
is
right.
torture.
Yes.
The thought of writing a book, I mean,
Oh my
a
God.
nightmare.
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
even.
But
I'd rather write a book than a screenplay.
Sure.
I'd like to write a book one day.
What is it going to be about?
Some history shit.
Yeah.
Another World War II book.
Is that
We
is
haven't
that your
figured
favorite
it
part
out.
of history?
Oh yeah, I'm obsessed with World War II.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Why? Just because it was the whole crew?
It was just so
like the-
much going on. It's so big. You can't even imagine how many millions and millions and millions of people were involved. It's just, I mean, like 80 million people died. Like that's an
Oh my
insane number. It's actually probably more than that if you include other stuff.
Yeah.
Probably like 100 million. That's
Jesus.
just boggles the mind.
That
Yeah.
is mind-boggling.
100 million people, mostly men. They don't give us credit.
right into the
Right? They don't give us credit, ladies.
What would that mean to give us credit to the ones that are alive?
Yeah. Well,
Hey,
just
I know.
we've been through a lot. Just we're processing it still.
Do you have a blessing?
My blessing. I think the thing in life that I'm most thankful for is Wikipedia. I think Wikipedia is the greatest thing. I think it's amazing that we have not all, but an incredible amount of the things that have happened in human history. You can just look it up whenever you want. I love Wikipedia. I read it every day. I think it's great.
How do you go about reading Wikipedia?
Well, they have like the on this day, so you can. I get my news from Wikipedia. If it's not on this day, it's not important in my opinion. That's how I filter out the news, pretty much.
Wow.
So on this day, but it's like things that happened way in the past? It's
No.
not anything-
Oh no. Well, there's on this day, and then there's I've said it wrong. Then there's just like today. There'll be like events. Like every day, there's like one news story. Because that's why I think the problem with the news is that there's so many stories that don't matter. So there's just really like one story a day that matters. So
And
that's
is the
what I
story
read.
written out like a Wikipedia entry?
Yeah, but it's like very accurate. Wikipedia is very accurate for like news and stuff like that. It's
I mean, it's
great.
an incredible experiment that worked.
I don't know.
There's so many ways that
Truly.
it should have failed.
Yeah, it's incredibly accurate. They've done studies.
How has
that,
it not been overtaken by trolls?
Yeah, it is sometimes, but they have people who look into it and
Yeah,
take
people
it
do
down.
those things,
Like there'll be like one day where it's like, don't go on James Spader's page. Everyone said he's a gay goat or whatever because some incels went there or whatever. But like they always correct it. I rarely am misled by it. I think Wikipedia is amazing.
I feel that way about YouTube. I feel like it's such an incredible collection.
YouTube is amazing, too.
Of videos. It's just an incredible collection.
It's insane how many videos there are.
It's
I mean,
insane.
how many trillions of hours.
I feel similarly. Every day I wake up and see what Jordan Peterson has to say.
Yeah, I love him.
and I go, that's it.
There
that
it
is
is.
why I
That's
don't
the
like
truth.
women.
That's really
Bible.
accurate. It's
Yeah, always
incredibly accurate.
Very smart too.
what he says about women.
Yeah.
All right. You get a lot of your info from YouTube?
Yeah. I get all my Jordan Peterson news from YouTube.
What's your YouTube searches like? Is it
Oh, I like to. It's usually about learning about things. So I'm really into watches. I fix watches. I've made watches.
You can learn any niche
can
you
learn
want.
anything.
Except for QAnon after they censored us. No longer.
But also, it's like you want to watch a dead. Like Aretha Franklin perform.
Oh,
it's like
a
it's
lot of
there.
good
it's
live
all
music.
there.
Yeah.
And it's such an amazing chronicle of all the
It's like it's
art.
like visual Wikipedia. Yeah,
insane.
it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
so this episode is coming out September 20th.
Oh, wow.
Is there
September.
anything you want to plug?
If you're in LA right now, go to Dynasty Typewriter at 7:30 to see Uncle Function.
Hell yeah.
Gianmarco and I and Russell will be in there, and it's going to be a
Nice.
great fucking
that's
show.
gonna be
Dynasty
fun.
Typewriter.
That's a cool venue.
We got Willie Mack opening for the show. We got Caleb Huron doing a guest spot.
Oh, he's so funny.
So you saw that Comedy Central set?
Yeah,
Didn't
he's
it make
great.
you want to kill yourself?
Yeah, he's too funny. He doesn't
God
really.
damn it.
He doesn't do stand nearly as often as we do, and he's a natural. Great.
I didn't watch it. I got to watch it.
He's funny.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
And then also see Uncle Function, and then September 21st, tomorrow, I will be headlining the Hollywood Improv.
There we go.
And that's going to be a very good time. October 2nd, Sesh Comedy Club. It's the Silver Lining. We have had a lot of podcast listeners coming out to the show. So much so I gotta it's one of those things where I can't do the material. It's
You have
gotta
to
be
do
all
new
new
stuff.
or just storytelling time.
That's a good challenge.
It's pretty awful. Where listen, I post so much online. I know a couple people at shows will know a joke or two here or there. But when I look at half the room and I'm like, oh, half of you definitely know this joke.
Yeah.
that makes me horrified.
and they're just like looking down, like, oh, he's doing this one again.
yeah, that's exactly.
that-
They're very supportive. Someone in the crowd even said they called themselves a Debbie Cider. I said it's Debbie Downsiders is what you're called. You're called Debbie Downsiders. So come to that. Listen, I get this Hollywood Improv one. You got to come to that. That's
That'll
September
be
21st, and then October 2nd. It's 8 p.m. at Sesh Comedy Club. I could have sold out. If not, we have like 6 more shows at Sesh Comedy Club. They're only $10 tickets. See me do an hour. and then 2 other comedians do time in between.
That rocks.
Anything that you want to plug?
I think that what day is September 20th? What day?
So this is coming out September 20th.
Is that what day of the week I mean?
Oh, Tuesday.
The Tuesday. So whatever that weekend
Uncle
is.
Function is headlining on a Tuesday night.
Goddamn
That
right.
Friday and Saturday, I think it's the 23rd and 24th, if my math is correct. I'm headlining the Dallas Comedy Club. Never been there. Heard it's great.
Hell yeah.
It's supposed to be a good time. 4 shows.
I think the Dallas Comedy Club is the one that after JFL, they came up to me, gave me a card. We want you to perform here. And then my agent reached out and they did not get back. So have a great time there. I wish you the best.
Hope it burns down.
And again, if you're a fan of this and you want to hear more, if you join the Patreon, it's patreon.com/downside. You get ad-free episodes, old bonus episodes, just me and Russell, and you get the new AMP episodes, the show we do with Amazon, Tuesdays, 4 to 5 p.m. EST. You can listen on the AMP app or just join the Patreon. Even if you don't want to listen to the extra episodes, that's a good way to support the podcast until we have ads. It's just $5 a month. And real quick, how much money have you donated to Wikipedia?
Zero money.
Zero. How much?
I've donated every year like $3 or $4.
$3.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what they
We
say.
I'm the asshole.
Do not
Yeah.
deserve it. This is the downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside. Downside.
You're listening to The Downside
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.